way back in the day, the highways used to be divided. There used to be a public and a private roadway system. And the public system was for commerce and the private was for people. So at some point, they merged the two. Now, so if you really don't have to go out of your way to make right to travel as an argument. You really don't have to, because if you start to stop with the constitutional question, and that's, hey, under the Sixth Amendment, I have a right to know the nature or cause of any action that's being taken against me by public official. This is not everybody thinks this is a courtroom thing. It is not. It says public official. It does not say anything about a courtroom.
Yeah.
It specifically says public official. So any public official, if a public official calls me a name, I have the right to say, why did you call me that name? And if he says, oh, I don't have to. Well, under the Sixth Amendment, I have a right to know the nature of cause, and the cause is the reason, and the nature is the jurisdiction. So I have a right to know these things. I do things the American way. It's gold and silver. If I go buy my car in gold, guess what? I can go down to the DMV and I can hand them my thing, and it says gold on there on the description.
Why would you payment? Why would you?
And that's a private. That becomes a listen. It becomes a private sale. So they can't have anything to do with a private sale. So they have to gift me. Listen, you're cutting in. They have to gift me a registration. That means it's free. It doesn't cost me a dime. It means they don't get to keep my bill of sale, which is equitable, trustee ownership, and it's trust and it's what's the other one? Well, it's equitable ownership and trustee ownership. They have trustees.
I call BS.
Welcome to the Freedom Unchained channel. I got a clip from a live stream that I think you guys all need to hear. It's the battle between David and Michael. It was at the end of a long live stream, so I wanted to get it out to you guys so you guys could see it, because a lot of people probably won't see it since it's at the end of this long live stream. So I had to encourage you guys to listen to the whole thing because it's packed with a lot of good information. But I wanted to know from you guys, are you on David's side or are you on Michael's side? I kind of see both sides. In my heart, I probably would be more on Michael's side. David would call it the patriot argument, but I don't really see it that way. I see it more as standing in a court and staying in honor. Michael will explain that, how to do that, and I'll give you a hint. It's by asking questions. I'm sure if you've been in this community long enough, you've heard that strategy. And if it's from Carl Lentz or George Gordon or Carl Miller or any of the old classic teachers of common law, you've probably came across this idea of flipping the court, taking control of the court, and standing as a man. I think it's the spirit of true American. I would like to see a lot of people practice this style. I don't see anything wrong with it. David would probably disagree, as you will see in this video. We had some heated debate and argument about this topic. We cover a few things, right to travel, and how to present yourself in court. So I hope you guys enjoy. Please subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, let's get a conversation started. Share this video around. I really think this one's going to be really educational for a lot of people. So please do share this one around to everybody. And let's just get into it.
Michael.
Hey, Michael, how are you?
Doing pretty good. I'm not feeling this guy at all. You want to go all the way back to where all this began. If you go into the Bible, when they start talking about, here's the priests and bring them 10% and we'll speak to God for you. Those people are called the Dogon. The Dogon are an astrology worshiping people. We were in the what's called the year of Pisces, and in Pisces, everything comes in twos. That's why there's always a left and a right, a yin and a yang. Everything. There's a defendant. There's a prosecutor. Everything is in twos. Our whole system is built in twos. In 46, they stopped teaching etymology. They didn't want everybody to know what words meant. So they took that away. And I believe what they're really ultimately trying to hide is the fact that the earth has flipped. When they talk about Satan's little season, that began in like somewhere in the ending of the 16th and 17th century, where apparently two people got into a war, and because we are connected to the earth and the earth is connected to the sun, we share all this energy. So when we get fucked up, the sun gets fucked up, and it says you're fucking the planet up, so we're gonna flip you. Now we lose, we get amnesia. Whoever's caught in the fields, when the fields come down, like you look at the earth from the side, the polar north and the polar south are where the fields are coming in. So that's where the break is, and that's why those two places are full of ice. That was in the solar minimum. Now we're going into a solar maximum. That's going to be fire. So imagine fields of fire coming down from the sun, from when it blows out one of its little ejection. It rides the fields down, and places where the fields reach up to about 2,000 degrees. That'll burn stuff around it.
You're talking about
It'll go through the earth.
You're talking about a micronova, Michael?
Yeah,
and
but that'll flip the earth.
And a pole
yeah,
shift.
The pole shift. That'll create a pole shift.
Doug Vogt showed where that was every 13,000 years, like clockwork, not just necessarily because
no. It's not. That is not on a that is not on a timeline. That has nothing to do. Everybody believes that's on a timeline because what seems to happen is we go on as a civilization, we grow, we flourish, we get to a point to where technology gets overblown. But what everybody fails to realize is since we live in a balanced universe, there's always going to be an equal amount of evil and an equal amount of good. So when people forget this and everybody's striving to be good, well, they can't, because we're in a balanced universe. Everything has a positive and negative. Everything.
I would say I would expand on that, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but I would say this is a balanced dimension. So if you want the scripture part of it,
it doesn't have to be a balanced dimension. That's a deal.
In what I read, we're all waiting on the hugest multi-dimensional ship to land on Earth, and we'll worship the being that comes down, and he has technology to resurrect. I mean, that's what I get out of the end story of the scripture, and it's a dimensional thing.
Well,
so the outer
that's
darkness,
because the Bible wasn't written for you.
That's
what you don't understand. The Bible was written for a specific group of people, because throughout history, okay, we have a group of people that keep taking knowledge and keeps hiding that knowledge because they don't want you to find out.
Oh, I understand. It comes from Egypt.
They are the ones that created the flip.
And before that, it becomes from Samaria. I get that. The Anunnaki Inky talks about watching this polar shift, though, 7 times while he was here.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Because 7 times we go through a period to where we get technologically advanced, but the fucking problem is we can't get along. We can't seem to, because we're not made to get along, because we're made to be.
What's the conflict with scripture, though? I've read about everything that
there is no conflict with scripture.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Scripture wasn't a lot of the scripture wasn't written for us, for all of us. That's what you don't understand. It wasn't written for us. It's written for a secret group of people. Now,
why do you say that?
The part that, because it's a book that's been used to control everybody.
It's a code.
They take history. They take history, and they take the parts that they want that says, hey, we can get these people to fear. Okay. Now, back in the day, it was people that was trying to get the planet to flip back. Those people are, we call those people are the ones that are going out and doing the evilest shit possible and created the most chaos so they can get Jesus to come back. You know these people, right? You've heard of these people?
Yeah, it's the learned elders of Zion.
Okay. Those people want they want the flip because they want to go back to the
But
way things were.
but the
But you got
but
people in oil, but you
but
got the people that are in oil.
the scripture wasn't made for them though. They just understand it and use it against other people. That's because they're bad people. The scripture
Okay,
itself
but
though,
once again, the scripture was not made for us.
it's made for me. So let me ask you this. You got a loan?
Huh?
Do you have a loan? Do you make any payments?
Oh, hell no. I don't even have a bank account. I do things the American way. It's gold and silver. If I go buy my car in gold, guess what? I can go down to the DMV and I can hand them my thing and it says gold on there on the description
Why
of the
would you be going
payment.
to why would you
And
be
that's a
going to the
private, that
DMV?
becomes a, listen, it becomes a private sale. So they can't have anything to do with a private sale. So
So
they
why are you
have to
standing there?
gift me. Listen, you're cutting in. They have to gift me a registration. That means it's free. It doesn't cost me a dime. It means they don't get to keep my bill of sale, which is
I call
equitable,
I call
trustee
BS.
ownership, and it's trust and it's what's the other one? Um, well, it's equitable ownership and trustee ownership.
I
They
call
have
B I call
trustee.
BS.
We'll call it all you want. I can. You all you got to do is go down if you want. I'll tell you what, Garrett. This is look. Try this, Garrett. If
Yeah.
you know somebody that'll accept a small coin, a gold coin for a title, not even it don't even have to be a running car. All it has to be is a title. Okay, you take and you put a gold coin down, and you you detail on that on the bill of sale. You take that bill of sale down to the DMV and ask for a gifted registration, and see if they turn you away. Because once they see that gets gold on there, that's a bill. That's a private sale. You go buy your gun, you use gold. It's a private sale. The government is regulating the dollar. Anything you buy in the dollar. When the dollar goes down, every dollar that you have in your possession, you now owe for. So figure that one out.
No,
I call
I get you.
BS.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying that
Okay.
I don't think the DMV
So
has a process
Well, I'll give it
at
a try
all,
one day.
right? I
yeah,
mean,
or I'll tell you what, just give them a call. Say, hey, look, I just bought my car in gold. Can I come down and get a gift of registration? And what is that all entitled? Now, they will try to, at some point, if there's a
here,
gift of registration,
hey,
they
Michael,
will try to get your bill of sale.
I'll
Their whole goal is
apologize.
to get your
Listen,
bill of sale.
I'll
Yeah.
apologize for me saying that because I don't know what state you're in. So
Yeah, it's in all states. It's in
it,
all states. It's
not mine.
because it no, it is. It's because the government does not have a right to regulate gold. It does not regulate gold. It regulates the markets that gold sits in. It can't regulate gold because it did not create gold and
So
silver. And that's why it's in the Constitution that legal tender is gold and silver.
What if Caesar's
Okay?
face is
That's
on it?
why it's in.
so isn't that a regulation?
It doesn't matter whose face is on it. The deal is no one created gold. Now, just because they printed the face on there doesn't still mean they created it. They just printed something. But in today's markets, today's understanding, gold, silver, and coins are legal tender because of the Coin Act. Those are all legal tenders. Okay. So by using gold, you bypass the government. Now, so the government turned around and created a second bypass, and that's the registration. So I go buy my car. Now, if I go down and register it with the tax, then my vehicle's taxed and it's no longer an automobile, it's a motor vehicle. So you're all not riding around in a motor vehicle for one. And number two, another problem is
why do you
on
even
these
register
stops
it?
when people, huh?
Why do you even register it?
Well, today with the gold, with the gold, you talking about for a gifted registration?
Yeah, why do you even register
It's
it
to
at
keep them
all?
off just to keep them off your back.
Okay.
You can do it. You don't have to. You don't have to, but it's to keep them off their back.
Just the
And their
benefit of
license, this shit
them
with the
not
license.
It's just a benefit for them not fucking with you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was. See, way back in the day, the highways used to be divided. There used to be a public and a private roadway system, and the public system was for commerce, and the private was for people. So at some point, they merged the two. Now, so if you really don't have to go out of your way to make right to travel as an argument. You really don't have to, because if you start to stop with the constitutional question, and that's, hey, uh, under the Sixth Amendment, I have a right to know the nature or cause of any action that's being taken against me by public official. This is not a court. Everybody thinks this is a courtroom thing. It is not. It says public official. This does not say anything about a courtroom.
Yeah.
It specifically says public official. So any public official, if a public official calls me a name, I have the right to say, why did you call me that name? And if he says, oh, I don't have to. Well, under the Sixth Amendment, I have a right to know the nature of cause, and the cause is the reason, and the nature is the jurisdiction. So I have a right to know these things. But dumbass people with the First Amendment honest, they really tick me off, because they don't understand that. Number one, if a cop cuts you off while you're talking, that's a First Amendment violation. And the reason why it's a First Amendment violation, he doesn't get to exercise his rights. He has no personal rights. He swore an oath. He took the badge. He's on the clock. He has no rights. His job or his duty is to uphold your rights. So if he cuts you off, he's violating your First Amendment rights. If he doesn't answer your question, he's violating the Sixth Amendment right, because he has a duty to inform. You have a right to know. Period. And that's what I think about all these dumbass auditors.
If they piss you off so bad, why don't you go out and do the First Amendment audits and show us how it's done?
Because I have other things, and I have other obligations.
I could
and
use case
my
law
obligations, my obligations are come first and foremost. Now, when those obligations are fulfilled, I will do it, but not until then. But that's just like, you can walk into court. You can literally walk into court and collect off of any driving infraction. Collect big. I'm not talking small. Because, like, for example, first question should be, what is please cite the law that grants you both jurisdiction and the authority to stop my Fourth Amendment right to travel freely. Now, you put it in that context, you're asking a constitutional question that he has sworn an oath, and it's not a, let me see your license. Oh, you're going to give me your license. You're a U.S. citizen. Okay, you're not an American. All right, I can keep going. But once you start asking certain questions, like constitutional questions, you're saying you're not a U.S. citizen. You're saying to the officer, I'm an American. And when you go in front of a judge and you put his ass on the stand, if you do it right, and you put his ass on the stand, and you say, well, I asked you this question. Why didn't you answer it? What's the first question you asked me? The first thing that happened on the whole deal. You violated the Sixth Amendment.
So what court are you in?
Anything after violation of the Sixth Amendment, anything out of that's fruit of the poisonous tree.
Are you doing this in practice or in theory?
The majority of this is in practice. Like, for example, I've been in front of a judge, and I've had a judge try to tell me, well, I'm gonna put you off to the side, and I'm gonna handle somebody else. You know how I deal with that? How I deal with that is this. I simply go, I object, Your Honor. Is Your Honor abandoning the case? That stops everything. He will turn around, come back to the mic. No, 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 no. Okay, then let's keep moving forward. No, well, Mr. Drop, no, no. You said you were not abandoning the case. So let's keep moving forward. And then you move on.
Wait, so the judge, what is the judge abandoning, his position in the case, or like the prosecutor, like
no,
abandoning?
Look. If he tries to set you off, in other words, he tries to cut off the case, stop the case.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, that's abandoning the case.
Well, my understanding of abandoning the case would be the prosecutor would be the one abandoning the case. So is he abandoning his position in the case?
No. Here's how it works. When you walk into a courtroom, the judge or the prosecutor is starting in a dishonorable position.
Well, they both are. Both of them are normally.
No.
The judge is normally acting as prosecutor.
No. Here's why. Here's why. Okay. When you first walk into the courtroom, the first person in dishonor is the prosecutor. The judge does not get to weigh in. He does not get to act in any capacity until both parties fall in dishonor. And the second both parties fall in dishonor, then he gets to step in and take care of the prosecutor's job. Your job is to stay in standing all the way through. If you stay in standing all the way through, if you capture the court, flip the court, expose the irreparable harm and damages, you can ask for reparations and use the law of lenity to trap that reparations. Do you understand those?
No. Why is the prosecutor in dishonor?
Because the prosecutor is going to start in dishonor because the second you dishonor yourself, the judge gets to take over. So he's automatically going to start in a place. He's automatically going to start there because the whole gimmick is to give it to the judge, to let the judge make the decisions.
Yeah, no, I understand that. So if you the man are not in dishonor, how are the prosecutor in dishonor?
Because he automatically starts in dishonor.
How?
Number one, process. He hasn't brought in. On a traffic stop, he didn't bring in an actual case.
So because
he didn't bring in a verified complaint. Because he doesn't bring in a verified complaint.
Because he didn't. Hold on. Stop cutting me off. Let me ask a question. So it's because he's not establishing the court properly. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So his whole job is to give it to the judge, because the judge is the highest financial fiduciary officer in the courtroom.
Yeah. So, but my thing is that I don't ever feel like I'm coming in and abandoning my position and going in dishonor. I feel like the judge is just automatically stepping in as prosecutor.
You're not going
before I even speak, the judge is acting as prosecutor.
You have to
let me ask you a few questions. Number one, did you file paperwork?
Yes.
Did you challenge jurisdiction?
No. It doesn't even matter if you challenge jurisdiction. It doesn't matter. The second you filed any paperwork, you acquiesced to their system and said, "I'm one of you."
So
I walk into court. I don't file no paperwork.
They're going to come bust his door in and take him by force and arrest him and make him go in front of that same judge.
Well, he's not saying that. He's saying he comes.
I'm not saying I don't come into court. I come to court. I love to come. I want to come to court. I'm getting paid. When I come to court.
Dude,
here's how it works. In order to stay in standing, number one, you cannot make an argument you cannot argue with the state. You're not there to argue. You can't make statements. You can't make one statement You can't file no paperwork because you're acquiescing to their you're stepping in their arena. Right
so
now you're in your own arena.
You should have case law for any of this that you're saying. It's just that's a fact. If the court's
This is what challenging jurisdiction is for.
If the court's going to recognize this at all, they're going to have case law, though. So where's that case law? If you ain't quoting case law,
Article 3. Article 3.
It's redundant to talk to people like you.
Yeah.
Because
here, look this up.
If you were to do it successfully, if you were to go in successfully and do this, there is no record. Because part of the process is, number one, you go in and you show their irreparable harm. You count the violations of all the constitutional violations. That's the 242 and 241.
Okay, so
when you're on the side of the road with all the cops.
Yep,
that's go ahead.
In an administrative court, talking in front of an administrative judge with the French flag there, because it's supposed to be there for him, because he's wanting to hear. Right. He's wanting to hear what you.
It's not the French flag, by the way.
Huh?
It's not the French flag, by the way.
No, I said fringe.
That flag is flag. Those French flags are Army Reg 810.03, I think. It's either 803.10 or 810.03 in the Army manual. That flag is outlined. That is the Army's creation. You can have it removed for that. But you have to cite that regulation.
It represents the Admiralty Court that he's wearing his Admiralty hat in. So
I just said that.
If you're sitting in
Army regulation.
Yep. If you're
military tribunal.
I don't even see a flag in court.
Regulation 810.03. It's somewhere around 810.03.
I don't even see a flag in my courts.
Army regulation.
So let's get off the flag thing. Okay.
You should go from this angle. Go from this angle.
So
it's Article 3, Section 2, Clause 2. It says, in all cases in which the state is a party, the Supreme Court shall have original jurisdiction.
That's only after you go through the process.
No, that's even before the process starts.
They'll make you go through the process.
There's only one Article 3 court, and that's the Supreme Court.
That's why I'm saying you have to challenge jurisdiction. That is the process of saying, oh, you're a commercial Admiralty court.
Well,
this is the wrong
hold on. So let him
court
finish.
For me, so I challenge the jurisdiction.
So
hold on. Let him finish.
I hear a ton of the whole Patriot argument that I've heard for decades.
It's the Constitution.
All I've ever asked for, it's okay. It is your understanding of the Constitution. It's your reading of the Constitution. But the only thing that counts, for real, we can save ourselves a whole bunch of time if somebody will show an appellate case that explains this, that a judge can act on it. Because if it's not an appellate case, if it's not a decision, then it's bullshit. It's not going to happen. And if it does happen,
no, it's not an appellate case. It's not an appellate decision, and I'll tell you why. Because if done right, when you at the end, you simply say, if you want reparations and you want the people to pay, this is what you have to do. You have to say, Judge, I demand that I instruct that you dismiss the charges without prejudice, eliminate the record, and make reparations in the amount of ASAP. Now, you are eliminating the record as part of the process. So how can it? If these people are going to pay you, they don't want everybody knowing they're paying you. So the process is dismiss without prejudice, eliminate the record, and ask for reparations in the amount of, and you're instructing them to.
How are they paying it with no record? Because I can get every cent that my county spends, and I can look at every cent my county spends. And if it went to Bob for some paper that they bought off Bob, or Steve came and mowed the lawn, and every single cent. So where are they paying this from? Where's this money come from?
Well,
National credit card.
In my case, it would come from the jail and the department and the police department. That's where I would ask for my reparations from, because it was the officer who picked me up, stole my vehicle under a RICO Act.
Now you saying where you would. Now, see, you keep saying stuff like that, and that has been proven wrong so many, like 1,000 times. Like that, those arguments you're saying, and you just said
what the RICO Act? The RICO Act?
The state's not going to get charged with RICO. The state's not going to get.
I mean, if a cop arrests me on the side of the road, he arrests me. He's kidnapping me and false imprisoning me.
On his road,
now, if he makes a call and says, "I want this car picked up," he has to call a private tow company to come out. There is
no private
RICO.
tow companies. There's no such thing as a private tow company. They all got license. They all got state license.
They all got license, okay, but they all claim that they're private. But
no, not.
But they're taking public funds.
I've been in the court. I've been in the court for over 30 years. In the courtroom, like almost daily. I have watched at least 1,000 arguments, just like what you're saying, and never.
No, you haven't.
One. Yeah, I have. Yes, I have.
No, you haven't.
And
the reason why, is because nobody can get past the name part. Nobody knows how to get past the name part. Now, I've got a couple. I do it a couple ways. I let him know my name is Brandon, and if he doesn't like it, he can move on. And he'll move on. That's one way.
Listen,
the other way is to ask them.
Wait, is that your real name?
Like you are, but I don't mind.
Attack you personally, but like I said at the beginning, I call BS. There ain't I use the court.
But you haven't seen nobody go in and do it. Well, there's been a few people that have gone and do it. But if you do the process rightly, number one, you get paid. Number two, there's no record of it because you asked for the elimination of the record. So why would there be? Why would anybody want to give up that type of knowledge if they have it in the first place? If they can just go in.
How are you getting paid without a claim? I wanted to break in here real quick and introduce you to my Go Brunch building. If you've been watching my live streams, I'm trying to do 100 hours of live streams in December. That's my goal, and you'll find me here when I'm doing those. This is my Freedom Unchained library, and you can see down here, you can follow this button, this arrow, says Freedom Unchained Hall. This is the fun hall. If you guys find yourself here, you'll be able to get to other rooms. The most important one is the office and information. If you click here, and when you enter the office, you'll find the room looking similar like this. I hope by the time you get here, I'll have more things added, but you'll find my social media links, my YouTube channels, my schedule for Spiritual Society of Friends, and my latest show that I have going on with a partner on Thursdays, 7 p.m. Eastern, Fundamentals. You have the FU library, you'll see right over here. This is how you can come have a conversation with me while I'm live streaming. That's the room I do my live streamings. And you'll also see the Spiritual Society of Friends. That's where I'm doing my Sunday morning spiritual meets. Because we all know in this community, if you're not connected to Source, True Law, then you're missing the puzzle piece to this whole freedom journey. So I hope to find you guys there on Sundays. So you should be able to find the link in the description below to all these rooms, and feel free to explore as you wish. The rooms are always open 24/7. You can join as a guest or you can sign up. It's free. You can also build your own rooms. So check out Go Brunch. And let's get back to it.
They're making the claim. You're flipping the claim. See, when they look.
So
the rest goes like this.
Are you dismissing or discharging, or are you offsetting?
You'd make a counterclaim.
No, you don't have to make a counterclaim. You don't have to make a counterclaim.
That puts you as the plaintiff, because if you're not making defendant,
reparations is about making a claim. Not all reparations is about making a claim. That's making a claim is a loss. It is countersuit. That's basically that's what he's asking. Nothing. You're not countersuing nothing.
A claim's not all about countersuit.
you're putting the cop on the stand. You're walking backwards through what all he did until he gets to the point where he either A, stole your property off the back of your vehicle and ran it, or B, pulled you over and asked and started asking you for your ID.
Wait, so when do you get a chance
Both
to put
of
the
those are stealing property.
when do you get a chance to put the officer on the stand?
Okay, look,
Good question.
this is how. Okay, you trick them. You have to trick them. And how you've got to first.
How did you get there? How did you get this far in the process?
Yeah, you're going all the way. Trial?
No, you don't go to trial.
So how do you get the officer
plea
on
process before you even plea? This is where you're getting paid.
When's the last time you went into court? I haven't seen an officer in court when you plea.
15 years.
Okay, well they
14.
They don't.
I mean,
what like for
what?
Like
on traffic violation.
A speeding ticket?
I know. I've got one
seatbelt ticket. They're not gonna do that for.
I think it was for a turn signal. But
okay,
it doesn't matter because they threw it out.
Well, it does matter.
I just want to say that. I tried basically everything that you've communicated, like with
no, you haven't.
talking.
You can say you have, but
no, just with like bringing damages. I tried bringing damages that were totally ignored. I tried talking like constitutional rights to the cops. They radioed in that I was a constitutionalist.
But you acquiesce to their system, so they see you as one of them. So you're really a U.S. citizen. And a lot of people don't know why and how the U.S. citizen came.
I'm not a US
but the U.S. citizenship has been repurposed 3 different times.
I'm not a U.S.
First, it was a colonial.
They're not trained.
First, it was a colonial tax.
You're talking stuff that's not trained.
First, it was a colonial tax and a way for the king to keep track of his subjects, and then it was later changed to the 14th Amendment, a U.S. citizen that was for slaves that needed to be naturalized. And then in 1933, it became an abject when they created the Social Security card because the government took a bailout that the government was responsible for. So from 33 to 35, they were fine. They were like, okay, this shit ain't going to work. And so they said, well, we're going to have to push this off onto the American people. So they forced the American people to take the Social Security card. That was the retirement process for the federal government. They took it from what used to be the 14th and what it was originally used for. And they said, well, we'll use it for tracking and IRS purposes to be sent over to the IRS, which is not a part of the country.
We get it. We understand all that. We're trying to understand.
Okay,
this
is where your two-tier system comes from.
That's wrong.
Okay, so how do you stay out of
what's wrong?
How do you stay in honor? I want to go back to that. We got cut off. So how do you stay in honor?
How you stay in honor?
Okay. If you don't put paperwork, and how do you
before you crossed the barrier? Okay, now that barrier is for dead people. That's the well. People drown in the well if they don't have a medium.
If you're talking about the bar, it is the veil of the temple. Actually, it's not for dead people.
Okay. Look,
you're not even supposed to go into court.
He asked me. Okay, we're on my terminology, not yours.
You're not
even supposed to go into court. If you go into court, you're already losing.
Well, he says he goes into court and he uses his mouth and not paperwork. So continue. Hold on.
I disagree with that because they do call it your day in court. It doesn't call your paperwork before court. It's not called the trial. It's called your day in court. And if you walk in as a free man, you'll walk out as a free man because
there should be a remedy before this, though. There needs to be remedy before.
You can talk to the guy. You can talk to the prosecutor before you walk in, and you say, "Hey, look, this is what I'll do." Like, okay,
I'm talking. There needs to be remedy even before getting ticketed, getting towed. Why you're even in court?
Yeah,
there has to be a remedial process that you need to take. Whatever paperwork it is, whoever you need to put on notice, there has to be a pathway. And if there's not, then it's
well, you're doing
servitude,
if you're doing notices and stuff, that's not a remedy. You're just building a record.
So for whoever's for whoever's out there that can hear this part of it, the reason that all of this happens is because we don't keep Torah. God gave us oppressive laws. It's Him Himself that is making it so hard. It's all bumps saying, "Hey, look at me, look at my way."
Yeah,
my way is better. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Okay, so can I go ahead and go? Can I go ahead and finish? Because I was asked a question, and we got some hijackers that really don't want the information apparently out there, because I know it'll affect your bottom dollar.
Yeah,
but this is how you do it. You walk up to the bar. The bar is it is outside the well. The well is a place where you drown. You need a mediator. They're called lawyers to mediate for you, somebody to speak for you. Why? Because the court considers you an imbecile. Why? Because you haven't reached the age of majority and you can't take care of your own fucking shit. That's why. So you walk up to it and you say, "Your Honor, if I cross this barrier, will I be contracting with the state?" He has to answer. This is a Sixth Amendment question. Yes, you do. Yeah, we're going to, okay, I don't want a contract. I'll be happy to cross this line if the court knows that I'm not willing to stand surety. Okay, so once you get him agree, he's going to have to agree. You walk in. Now, he wants your name. There are several ways you can put this off. You can say, "I'm a friend of a court. My name is Brandon. I'm here for the person involved. I'm the authorized agent, authorized representative." You heard all that before.
Is that your actual name?
It doesn't work. What, Brandon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just wondering if you're using your real name or not. I just want to. All right, go ahead.
So, I tell him that's my name. Now, he'll try to make up some things. At some point, you just say, "Move on." You get tired of his shit, just say, "Move on." You instruct him. You are coming in. You are to order, instruct, and ask questions. You are not supposed to make arguments, because you're not there to argue. And you're not there to make statements, because statements lead to arguments. So you don't do one of those two. So everything that you have to do is in a form of a question, and has to be in the form of a question. Everything.
Except for the move on,
because
right?
Because you're not there. Yeah, well, orders. No. Orders and instructions. Orders and instructions. Now, this is where you're going to get that bullshit of where they start interrupting you. The second they start interrupting you, just politely object. "Your Honor, I politely object. Let the record reflect that the judge or the prosecutor is violating my First Amendment right to speak freely, fully, and at length, as outlined in the Constitution of the United States." Bam, that stops that shit. Because the next time they do it, then you're going to start asking. The next time it's done, you're going to start asking for sanctions. And you're going to go 10% of a 1983. So, next person that violates it is a $25,000 sanction.
Oh, okay.
10% of Title 42. Are you talking about 42 1983?
Yeah.
Okay, so how are you getting that?
10%.
If you're not in the jurisdiction.
No. They're not in the jurisdiction. You're in the jurisdiction. You're in the jurisdiction as of yet. As long as you haven't dishonored, you haven't made arguments, you haven't done all these things, you're in the jurisdiction.
I understand what you're saying. You're talking federal.
Okay.
The Title 42, 1983, you're separating as federal, and the Constitution as compared to state. Am I right?
Correct.
Okay.
So now I can ask for 10%. What is that? That's the rule of lenity. And you let them to know. With the rule of lenity, I want to use, the rule of lenity, and I'll do 10%. That's $25,000 for the first sanction, $50,000 for the second, $75,000 for the third, and $100,000 for each sanction afterwards.
Now, where do I find that in Title 42?
I don't know if it's in the 42, but they have for constitutional violence, they have a schedule for it. They have a schedule, and that's the schedule for constitutional violations. I don't know where to tell you to find it, but it's fine though. It's not like it's hard to find. So you ask a question. He says, "Well, I don't have to tell you that." Well, under the Sixth Amendment, I have a right to the nature of cause of any action any public official takes against me. So, yeah, you do. So once they start knowing that that you know how to apply the First Amendment and the Sixth Amendment and the Fourth Amendment, because technically, until the reason why they go on and they don't make a big thing of it at first is because you technically haven't fallen out of honor yet when you don't give it to them, and then when they're like, at some point you fall out and then they bang you. So that's what's going on with that. I mean, as long as you stay within honor with that, you're moving along.
Wait. I missed what you're trying to say. Fall out. You're not giving them what?
They're not giving them ammunition to fall out of order, out of honor.
Seems like if you're going into court in the first place, you've already fallen out of honor.
Huh? No. The courts are for us. The court, the everything America is the court system.
But if you're going in as a defendant,
the whole idea of America is the court system.
The judge is the court, though, by definition.
No, the paperwork's the court.
Well, is he in Article 3 or is he in Article 1? Because in Article 3 judge, that's a judge. Okay, an Article 1 judge is not a judge. It's a ministerial appellant clerk. That's all they are. They're clerks. So they're fiduciary clerks.
If they can have you thrown in jail,
then I can come back and sue them. And how I do it, the second they even mention consent, the thing I say is, okay, I politely object, Your Honor. Will your Honor's bond withstand the liability being introduced into this courtroom today?
Do you have a case number for any of this? Even one?
Go look up a ministerial clerk.
No.
They do not have the power. They do not have the power to put anybody in jail, sign warrants, or create orders.
Do you have a case number for your Title 42 1983 settlement?
Why would I need one?
Because you said they're claiming they paid you money.
They didn't pay me out of a lawsuit, dumbass. They gave it to me in reparations.
Well,
I eliminated the record. Why? What part does that escape you?
What are you saying? Reparations or reparations?
You're saying a state court gave you federal reparations. You just said a Title 42 1983 is where you.
I didn't sign. No. You said a Title 93. I said I'm pulling my sanctions. I'm pulling my sanctions from a 1983. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not filing a 1983.
He's talking about from the schedule.
You committed a constitutional violation. If I had to take you to court and file a lawsuit against you in court, the scheduling says that $250,000. But you're going to talk over me.
No,
go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, I'm just saying reparations would be still civil. You're talking two different things. You're there for a criminal or a violation of an admiralty rule, And then
okay,
you're
but
also
what part? What part of eliminate the record? That right there should just do it for you. Eliminate the record.
Okay.
What are we doing when you eliminate the record?
Whenever somebody
what are we doing?
gets a case dismissed, that the record is not public, but it's not eliminated either.
No, it's eliminated. Yeah. It's eliminated. When you ask for an elimination, you get an elimination.
And then you're going to get a settlement from a 1983 violation, Title 42, 1983 violation.
No, I'm not going to get it. Where are you getting this 1983? I just sit there and told you I'm not filing a 1983.
He says he's taking the schedule of the 1983.
There's no 1983.
Who's got a 1983 schedule? Who's got a civil rights schedule that's sitting in a state court? Who has a civil rights schedule that says this is $10,000, this is $25,000?
Will you do me a favor?
Not asking.
You don't know what you're talking about, and you're trying to waste my time for me to tell these people what's going on. So why don't you just please be quiet and let me speak? And don't ask me no questions, because all your questions are stupid. I find them disrespectful.
To my understanding, there is a sort of schedule for certain violations of certain rights.
Yeah, those are the 1st, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, and the 10th, maybe the 9th. But and so once you're done, once you've gone through the name BS, then they're going to start asking you questions about where you live. And I need you to understand this, because a lot of you are not seeing the obvious. When they ask me where I live, I tell them my address minus the zip code. And I don't give them the zip code. And they're going to keep bugging me for the zip code. And my first response to that is, I object. Okay, what's your objection? Why is this a state court? Yes. Okay, then why are you asking me for federal information? Because the zip code is the address for your mailbox that is protected by Washington, D.C. for postal purposes. You stick your hand inside a mailbox, your hand is now in Washington, D.C.'s jurisdiction. You pull your hand out, oh, you're back in the state. That's federal information that they're asking for. They're not supposed to be asking for it. And then here's another question you want to ask, because this really brings shit. But I wait till the last on this question. But here's another telling question. When if this is all state as they claim, then why did they access your Social Security number at the sheriff's office to create a charging lien or bond, which they call a charging bond or a charging matrix? That's federal information, and they did not they did not get my written permission to do that. And they have to have your written permission in order to access that account if you've reached an age of majority and if you are taking care of your own business. And you can FOIA request that bond matrix from the Attorney General and have him send it to you. You simply FOIA the guy and say, hey, there was a bond matrix taken out from this sheriff's office under this number. Send it to me for my inspection. That's all you have to do.
How do you find
it to you?
How do you find the information from the sheriff's office and which number it is?
It's the charging number on the
citation number?
Charges they handed you.
Citation number?
It's usually the citation number, or you look on there, when you get the papers from the lawyer, you look on there, and it'll have that. And here's something I think. Look, all y'all need to do this, because what's been going on is a conflict of interest. Majority of times, you would think the prosecutor goes down and gets these. But there are times when the judge goes down and gets these, and by him going down and gets it, creates a conflict of interest, because how is he going to sit on a bond matrix that he created and he's fixing to get money off your loss?
What are you calling it, a bond matrix?
A bond matrix or a
Like
charging matrix.
Like the movie The Matrix?
Like the Matrix. Yeah, like the Matrix.
Okay.
It's either called a charging matrix or a bond matrix.
Do you think this
But you go down to the sheriff's office and he has to pay. And that's another thing. A lot of these guys aren't paying for him. A lot of these guys are going down and taking them out at the sheriff's office and not paying for it. And when they win, they just collect all the money. They didn't pay nothing for it, though. That's another thing you got to check for. And another thing is they got to file a 1099, either SEC or an NEC, if applicable. They have to file that. You simply ask the prosecutor or whoever filed it. If you find out who filed it, and if it's a judge, just keep asking the fucking prosecutor. Did you file a 1099 to watch him sweat? Did you file a 1099? I went down to the IRS and asked. Always go down, like, before you go to court. If they're going to give you 3 weeks before to go to court, that's when you start pointing the Secretary of State for all your evidence. You don't go down to these police stations and get videos. You go to the Secretary of State because they have to file everything with the Secretary of State. All evidence, they got everything they do. They gotta file a copy with the Secretary of State. So you simply FOIA request the Secretary of State and ask him for whatever evidence these people won't give. Now, if you want to show that these people are not doing their jobs, you go down there and try to get it from them first. And when they tell you no, then you go to the Secretary of State. And then you go to the sheriff's office.
Do you mean the evidence of the case or the evidence of the security instruments?
I'm talking everything. You can get the security, all the evidence. They have to file, even if it's not physically the evidence with them. They have to file that they have that evidence. And then what happens is when you FOIA request the Secretary of State, the Secretary of State sends them a letter saying, hey, you have this information. Please send it to me. I need a copy. And they don't say it's for you. They just say, I need a copy. So they send it up there. She gets a copy. She makes her a copy if she doesn't have the physical copy in there, and she sends you a copy. And when you get it, you're like, oh, shit, I got the evidence. And then when you go into court, you go, okay, but why'd you do this? Okay, why'd you do this? Okay, what's this about? All you have to do is have people don't know how to go get the evidence. They've kept that from people. People think you got to jump through hoops. People think you have to go to a police station to get the evidence, and so they can shit on you. And you don't have to. You can sidestep them. You can sidestep any public official.
All right, so back to David.
Like
back to David's questions. Do you think they're paying out? So if you're making money off of them and getting them to pay you, are they paying out with the bonds?
No, they're not paying out with the bonds. They can't pay out the bonds. The bonds are worthless. The bonds were taken out against you. If he dismisses the record, now you can ask for that bond. You can if you ask the bond, but the judge has to order the bond to you. And a lot of times the judge that's sitting is not the guy that's going to be is going to be writing the orders. Because when they come to court and they're sitting in that seat, they're not a judge. They're a ministerial apparent court, and they don't have all the because I mean that's simply because under the Constitution, the First Amendment grants the states the right to create courts. What they don't grant the state the legislation the right to is to create judges, because that's in Article 3, and due to the powers of separation, legislation cannot create a judge. But here recently, within the last, I don't know, I think it's been like less than 80 years, they created an avenue for judges for Article 3 judges to sit in Article 1 seats, but they can't use Article 3 powers. They can only use Article 1 powers. But once they get up out of that seat and go to their office, they can sit around and write Article 3 orders. But they can't do it. What they can't do is they can't put you in contempt and throw you in jail. They can't do that. That has to be a scheduled hearing. Because they're sitting in an Article 1 seat and they don't have the power to write that order. Until he gets up and walks into his office and sits in an Article 3 chair, he can't do shit. So he can't put you in jail. And the second he does, he's opened himself up to liability. His bond's in jeopardy. And another thing, you go to sue a judge, you don't sue the judge, you sue his association, because his association is where he's hiding his money. A lot of people don't know that. But when you're standing in there, you haven't made one argument, and these people are trying to say, well, are you a resident? Well, no, you're not a resident. That's a visiting alien. Okay, are you a U.S. citizen? No, that's a public official. Well, try to tell you it's not, but it is. That's what it really is. And the Social Security number is the retirement plan for the U.S. government.
It's an employee.
That came with paying taxes. For an economy that they nose dirted. I mean, they used prohibition to defund the government. That's what the whole purpose of prohibition was, defunding the government. Why do you think it just so happened? It ended around the same times that the collapse ended. Just before the collapse. I think it was in 29 that it ended. 31 is when you get your collapse, your market collapse. 33 is when you get your bailout that the government takes, that the government is responsible for. And 35 is when they push it off onto the people. 1907 to 1909 is when they did the audit on the government to find out, oh, hey, we got a ridiculous surplus. Holy shit, guys, we're sitting good.
I just wanted to ask, do you practice what? Sorry about the delay. I just wanted to know if you practice right to travel using an automobile.
Right now, no, and that's only because of, like I said, I have some obligations that need my attention, and I need to do my obligations as easy as possible. Okay. And, the health of some of my people here come first. This is how I feel. I did, my mom just got done having a triple bypass, and she's got 90% clottage in her artery. So my mom comes first before these people's bullshit, because at the end of the day, whether I walk out there or not, I'm fine. Because when they pull me over, I just address them as a constitutionalist. I address them under what I live under, and they have to look. If you look, another thing, a court is all about who you are. If you're doing business with gold and silver, if you're buying your house in gold and silver, and you're holding your deed, and you're holding a bill of sale, and you have 9/10 of standing in court, and you do the same with your car, you do the same with your guns, and you do the same with most of your stuff, and they see that you are living as an American, then the evidence is you're an American, and they can't come after you as a U.S. citizen. So it's how you present yourself. Who are you at the time that this occurs? Am I driving at a job where I do need a license, or am I traveling in my car that I have the certificate that, or the the bill of sale that says I bought it with gold, and that it's an automobile. So, and if I walked in any court and handed it to any judge and tell me, okay, is that a motor vehicle or an automobile? Judge is going to look at that and he's going to say it's an automobile. I'm sorry, my bad.
Yeah, I basically
it's how you're doing
tried
business.
my best about this, and the definite mistake was having it titled with the state and not rescinding the title ownership.
You can't rescind the titleship.
They fully disrespected any form of constitutional anything. They radioed in that I was a constitutionalist and made me like sound like some terrorist or something. It was,
my favorite is the sovereign citizen, and I get them with this one. They can't fuck with me on this one. JR 10, 1940. It's a ceremonial definition, but that's even worse because ceremonials are higher in stature than within regular definitions. And it says that a sovereign citizen is one who's reached the age of majority and ready to exercise its individual sovereignty.
Where's that say that?
No, yeah.
JR 10, 1940.
No, here, I actually shared that in my...
It's joint resolution. Joint resolution 10, 1940. Cameron Wilson has it on his channel.
So here's what chat says, which I'll dig deeper than chat, of course. I'm not one to take its words for it, but
no, it's an actual document.
Yep, HJR 10, 1940 refers to a U.S. congressional resolution that establishes I Am an American Citizenship Day, promoting civil duty, but is often misinterpreted or twisted by sovereign citizens who believe they can opt out of federal law by claiming a different sovereign status, often using all cap names, documents of proof as a government straw man ideal with no legal standing in courts. What HJR 10 1940 actually was its purpose was to create a third Sunday in May as an I Am an American Citizen Day, later Citizenship Day, Constitution Day, to highlight the significance of citizenship and civil responsibility. The context, the government President Roosevelt signed it, aimed to prepare young citizens for their role in self-governing republic, noting 2 million young adults returned 21 annually, whatever that means. The sovereign citizen misinterpretation, the straw man theory. Sovereign citizens believe documents with names in all caps, letters, we all know that argument. The opting out theory. They attempt to separate themselves from this perceived straw man by altering signatures, adding symbols, nobles, bay, rejecting licensing and ignoring federal laws, believing they revert to common law status. There's no legal basis. Their arguments including those derived from the misinterpretations of the historic documents like JR 10 or the National Act of 1940 are consistently rejected by the courts and have no foundation in law. The last thing it says is, in essence, HJR 10 was a patriot, intuitive something for civil engagement, but it became a target for sovereign citizens to justify their anti-government beliefs, disrespect its actual legal meaning. And then it ended.
So what's your claim on?
So
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, what was your claim again on that? What did you claim it said?
I said it says that it is for people who have reached the age of majority who are going forward to exercise their individual sovereignty.
So,
but it was really Citizenship Day. Yay, we're citizens.
So it has something to do about majority.
That's what it's saying. You just read what it said. You just read that there and said it was about people going forth and applying their sovereignty.
No, that's not what that said.
While saying
it gave its opinion on
that's
it.
rejected by court.
That is not what that said, Michael.
Well, it just pretty much gave it an opinion on it. It didn't really actually say anything what it actually said.
And that's true. But at least chat would at least have some. Okay, here I'll ask chat if it's got any follow-up case law to back up what it's saying.
Sure, because we weren't even on that fucking topic. We were on something else, weren't we, Garrett?
Well, you're the one that brought it up, dude.
Well, yeah, I kind of forgot where we were.
No, I brought it up. You brought in chat and trying to hijack it. But
so you call case law and truth hijacking. Am I getting that right?
Case law is hijacking. Yes, it is.
I don't.
Look.
I mean, you can always get a gun.
It's like the what if. It's like the what if question on the side of the road, or a what if question from the judge. Asks you what if. Okay. Well, you show me one law that was created by what if.
If you don't think
show me one law
can get you on contempt and lock you up just for being in his doors in his room without passing the bar or anything, that's crazy because. They do. I've seen it like over and over and over.
Well,
over. In
fact, they can do whatever they want, but doesn't mean it's right.
I watched the guy piss outside.
They can do whatever. Yeah, they can do whatever they want. But look, when you go to hold them account, the problem is you guys don't know how to hold them account. You don't know to walk across the hall to the fucking clerk of court and say, "Hey, can I have a judicial complaint and a judicial complaint guide?" And you don't know how, and you don't know how, and you don't know how, and you don't know why, that when you file a complaint with him against the judicial tries to set it off because they're not a judge. You have to demonstrate them and take them to Congress because they're a legislative animal. A lot of people don't know that, but
are you talking a federal or state judge?
All judges are Article 1. The only Article 3 judge is Supreme Court. That's it. Supreme Court of the highest court in the land is the only Article 3 court. Every court after that is legislative.
We don't have a panel to judge a judge, but what we can do is make a complaint to the retirement board, and then they investigate the judge. And if he done something like super, super bad, like tell the bailiff to shoot somebody 3 times in the chest in his room or something, he might get.
That's just like if I make an objection in court. If I make an objection in court and I say, I object, Your Honor, and the judge doesn't follow up with sustained or overruled, then that question doesn't get sent to the appellate court because it's not recorded.
I agree with that.
It's not recorded. Okay, so you've got all these little things that are going on that you don't know about.
No.
You might know about, but we can agree that majority of people have no clue about.
Well, as long as you bring it up, whether he made a decision on it or not, it's still appealable in an appellate.
And at the end of the day, what's going on is these people are casting spells. Spelling is the root of casting spells. You write cursive so you can create a curse. Etymology is not taught since 1946. Once again, you people don't know the root words of these of what's being put in front of you. Until you go back to etymology,
you assume that we don't know a lot, dude. Seriously.
I know. I listened to you. I've listened to Garrett.
Listen. Well,
me and Garrett had a conversation about 8 months ago, and Jarrett was on me about the same way you are. And I said, because I said long way back, you don't have to file paperwork to walk in a courtroom. Garrett disagreed pretty intently. Because Garrett was of the at that time. Garrett was of the impression.
No,
but you do have to do these things.
But you want to
but
file
I'm saying
paperwork.
You do these things. You're saying that you're not an American. You're a U.S. citizen. When you start operating in their court under their likeness, you are one of their people. I'm not one of their people. I'm not going to go file any paperwork telling them who I am. I can do that when I walk in the courtroom.
They don't have to have your name to arrest you, dude, and to charge you or to put you in jail and for you to serve out your sentence. They can give you 25 years and call you John Doe. That's a fact.
That's a fact, but that's illegal.
No, it ain't.
And that just shows you what kind of system we're living in.
What if you just didn't have a name? What if you didn't have a name and you committed a crime and they want to arrest you? So you get out of it because you didn't have a name? That doesn't make sense. I mean, in the original America,
I don't know what their creation and our creation has to do with any of that. Okay, they created the name. Okay, it's not my name. I only have one name out of there. It's Brandon.
Well, here's one thing that I am.
Other names are not mine. Other names are not mine.
Okay.
The great grandson of Anna Lee Jarvis.
I won't disagree with you. You can say whatever you want about your name. That's fine. I mean, that's your right. I'll protect that right. You have the right to say I don't have a name. All I'm saying is that
this stuff is being done off the name.
That a prosecutor,
they're using your account. They're using your account.
That's bullshit. It's complete bullshit. It's UCC and Patriot twisted arguments, just like what Chad said. They're twisted arguments. They don't work in court. Courts don't even listen to them. They will not listen to them.
Once again, you're in there making arguments again. I haven't made an argument. That's the difference between me and you. You're in there making arguments. I'm not.
Yep. Well,
you're making arguments.
I'm not.
It doesn't work for you because you're arguing with the court. Why would I argue with the court?
So
there's nothing wrong with their laws. There's nothing wrong with their laws. The only thing, look.
No, I get it.
Well, wait a minute. Let me finish. Let me finish this. The only thing is, if they wanted to fix this system, the only thing they would have to do is ask the officers to walk up the car and do what they've been required by law is. Are you a national? Are you a U.S. citizen? Or are you an immigrant? That is a federal required question for every law enforcement officer, state or federal. Second question they could ask is, are you a driver or a traveler? That fixes everything.
Listen,
because all you have to do is, if you let me finish, all you have to do is if they're traveling, just sit there and look at them and say, well, look, reason why I stopped you because you didn't use a turn signal back there. Could you please use your turn signal and have a good day? You're free to go. And that's it. I get a chance to, as a cop, I get a chance to look around their car. Is there any drugs? Is there anything I can say that's a crime? No. Okay. Well, have a good day.
But
they won't do that.
That's good politics, but it's bad law. It just won't work in
That's not bad law. It's not bad law. It's not bad law.
You don't have to be a citizen to be arrested. You do not have to be a citizen. You could be a
not a U.S. citizen anyways.
You can be a foreigner and be arrested.
I'm an American.
For a real crime.
You can be an American. You can be a denizen.
Okay, but the difference is, as an American, I can hold them to account. As a U.S. citizen, I can't because they were just doing their job.
But what you're saying is
that's what you're failing to realize.
You want me to believe all this stuff, but you have I'm
not asking you to believe nothing. I'm not asking you to believe nothing. You're making money. You're making money exploiting people.
How am I making
money? Keep at it.
How am I making money?
Because you're obviously a lawyer.
How's that?
Yeah, sound exactly like a lawyer. You just got done saying many times. You just hang out in courtrooms? So you just hang out in courtrooms?
Thank you very much. No, I was a bail bond agent for decades. So I got to listen to all kinds of cases, man. I mean, tons of cases. And I've heard about everything. I I have bonded so many people out, and I have heard every traffic argument and every I didn't know it was methamphetamine argument, and I, this and that and the other. I sit there day in, day out, listening and watching the court procedures and what works and what don't work. And I have never seen this patriot argument work ever, unless somebody just buffaloed their way through a municipal court or scared some little municipal clerk to where it was like, oh, okay. And they just don't want to argue it or deal with it, and they let them walk out the door. But to an appellate level, to a state level, to just a county level, I've never.
Well, if you're going,
not once.
Look, if you go past the plea, you're wrong. You've done wrong anyways. That's my opinion.
What I'm saying. Show me. Okay, you just said that's your opinion, and you have every right to that. But all I'm saying is, dude, I sat there for years.
David, he hasn't argued. He hasn't said anything about a patriot argument. Where do you get the idea of the patriot argument?
His whole thing is a patriot argument.
No, it's not a patriot argument.
To my understanding, you're just you're doing like what they do with sovereign citizens and just shove everybody in the sovereign citizen bucket and then throw it.
Oh, I'm probably
and then they get sued for it. I'm
probably guilty of that. Oh, I admit it, Michael. So listen,
but he's not arguing. He's not arguing anything. What he's actually explained is putting these people in their positions.
It's how you put these people in check while you're standing in front of them.
Put it this way, I have never seen anybody come in and use a silver bullet, or garlic, or a cross, and watch the prosecutor.
You're not using a silver bullet. Fuck! I got to work for the shit. I really got to work for this shit.
Or a prosecutor or judge roll up and shake like they just please let me go and please stop.
No, that bullshit. I gotta work for this shit.
He didn't explain.
You gotta work for this shit.
Don't
what this bullshit you're talking about.
If he's driving on the road,
I gotta work.
If he's driving on the road and he don't have a license,
he's not claiming that
or insurance. Why is he in court?
He didn't explain any reason why he's in court. He's just telling this is how he.
I didn't explain any reason. I'm saying what you do when you get to court.
We started this off.
This works. Look. This works if you haven't done anything wrong. If you haven't done.
Hold on, Michael.
Beat somebody.
Brandon.
If you haven't stolen. We're talking about walking into a court case where there's no verified complaint. Okay. If there's no verified complaint, there's no court case. Period.
Okay, so wait, David, why are you bringing up the argument like arguing a traffic thing or anything when the whole idea is we're not even get to the point. You're not even get to the merits of the thing.
We're not making any arguments. Period. No argument.
No, I get what you're saying. So the first thing the judge is going to do when you won't engage is he's going to probably let you walk out of the courtroom and he's going to put a warrant out for you.
No, he is engaged.
I'm not going to walk out of the courtroom.
He's engaged. He's engaging.
You're smoking.
But he's engaging in a certain way where he's only asking questions, and he's forcing the judge to follow the ideas. He has to answer the questions.
Gonna last about 30 seconds, maybe a minute, maybe 2 minutes. You might stretch it out to 5.
Not if you're calm. Not if you're calm.
Here, look, listen. After you get the address done, right? My first question is going to be: do I have a Sixth Amendment right to know the nature cause of any action against me? He's going to say yes. Now he's going to try to keep pushing for an administrative process. I am not consenting to the administrative process. He's trying to push the administrative. He's going to try to say, okay, what are you pleading? He's going to keep trying to say, oh, what are you pleading to? What are you pleading to today?
But we passed something up that we need to establish. Why?
Okay, go ahead.
Why are you there?
That's what he's trying to figure out.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll give you the stop. 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 I'm driving down the road. I see a guy parked. You know how they like to park in those drive up parkways off to the side?
You see a cop. He's got a speed trap.
Okay, right. Okay, he's parked on private property, conducting public business. I see him, so I speed up. So I purposely speed up.
That's all legal
Okay,
assumptions
listen.
that he's wanting to do, but he don't want the court to make legal assumptions. But he wants to make all these assumptions. So anyway,
okay,
it's just a cop. It's just a cop, and he's watching for speeders. Okay, I got it.
Okay. So I see him. I speed up. I purposely speed up. Okay. Now he's going to get behind me. He's going to get behind me. One of the first things he's going to do is going to run my license plates, right?
I don't know. I'm not a prophet. Maybe, or he
Isn't
might.
that what they usually do? Isn't that what they usually do? They get behind you. They run you to see what kind of person you are.
I don't know.
See what kind of person that. Are we going to give this guy a hard time, or are we not?
Cops that might just pit you without even knowing your name or checking your license plate if you piss them off enough.
What are we talking about? What were we talking about? Who said they needed to pit me?
You just said you speeded up on purpose to piss him off.
No, I speeded up on purpose past him.
Okay.
Not while he's following me. He's in the driveway off the side of the road.
Yep. So what does that mean?
But he's going to pull out now.
Is that
I passed him. I've passed him.
Yep.
Okay. He's pulled out. Okay. We'll say 32 and a 25. Is that good for you? 32 and a 25.
Yep. We're establishing that problem.
Okay. So I pull out, or he pulls out behind me. The first thing he's most likely going to do, we know he's going to do it. He can't help it. It's like crack. They got to get their fix. He's got to run my plate. Figure out who I am, what kind of person he's going to be dealing with, conducting public business.
Okay, but
so he pulls me over.
But listen, no, wait a minute. Let's do this real slow. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he checks or in public business and all that's legal conclusions that don't need to be in the story. Here's
no, because that's a constitutional violation. That's a constitutional violation. That's a Fourth Amendment violation, to be exact.
What is?
Running my plates.
Bullshit. Not only can he run your plates, he can yank you out of the car and lock you up, and then just lock you up.
I want him to. I want him to. I want him to bust my window.
I want him to.
I want him to bust my window.
If you're going to speed like that,
because
out on that road.
Anyway, because the first constitutional violation he will have committed was, number one, he was on private property trying to conduct public business.
Okay,
that's a no-no. You don't mix public and private. You cannot even if that person gives permission, even if he's on a
this is bullshit.
State parking lot.
It's just bullshit. Everything that's coming out of your mouth is bullshit right now. He can.
Well, public and private don't mix. You can't conduct public business on private property, buddy. You can't do it.
There ain't no private property.
It's against the law.
Here's a private
because everybody. There is private property.
The state owns it all, or you wouldn't be paying real estate tax.
Listen, what I'm saying. And once again, you're talking without knowing. And once again, I'm going to say you're talking without knowing. If I buy property and I use gold and I hold the bill of sale, yes, my property is private. No cop can come past my fucking driveway onto my property because they're out of their jurisdiction. If they want to get a search warrant, a judge has to call me and say, hey, we need to get a search warrant for this place. Why?
And this is
that's going to be my question. I can say no. I can say yes. Okay. No. It's because when you give up your bill of sale to the state, you have given up your jurisdiction to the state. Now the state is your jurisdiction is now the state's jurisdiction. I don't even know
where you got off on this. You were speeding down the highway and you went faster because
we're talking about public and private. That's where we got off on this because you don't understand the difference between public and private. Public and private don't mix.
He's not even
public and private don't mix.
He's not in court as when he goes to court to testify against you. He's not there as a public official. You do realize that, right? No, he's not. He is there as an individual to testify in
his report is not evidence. His report is not evidence.
He's witnessing.
It's not an affidavit. It's not a sworn affidavit.
If I see you do that, I can go in court. They can call me in court and say, "Did you see him run a stop sign?" I've seen this before. I've seen an old lady brought in court that was having coffee on her porch, and because the cop's gun or something, it wasn't the cop's gun, the radar gun, was something. Anyway, they asked this lady, "Did he blow that stop sign?" And this individual from her porch said, "Yes, I seen him run the stop sign." Okay, you're guilty of the stop sign. Boom, click. No cop even needed. Now you just confess you speeded. It just don't
make
sense.
What, Garrett?
It's a situation.
Holler back at me some other time when you ain't got this dumbass dickhead on, because we weren't talking about this. And if he wants to drag this out, if he wants to fucking drag this out and waste my fucking night.
I will
want to drag this out and waste my fucking night.
And I'll try to save people time. You
get back with me later.
Yeah, hit me up.
God bless, Michael.
I gotta go to bed anyways. It's too late for me. But thanks for jumping on.
And I don't have any malice against you or dislike you or anything. I'm a truther. What can I say? I've already seen this. I just can't sit and listen to it. Anyway, I don't want people, how many people get arrested and do time in jail and lose their jobs and stuff over this right here? That's the problem.
I don't know where he's going with the scenario he was talking about, but to my understanding, he was pretty much challenging jurisdiction without the paperwork. He's saying if you put the paperwork in, you're kind of consenting.
Actually, what he said was, I was guilty when I walked in of everything that they accused me of. I mean, seriously.
Well, no, because you're not getting to the merits of that. He's never got to the merits. He's not arguing the crime.
I agree with that, but I can answer this real quick. And I did the first time that we spoke. I sent this to you. I sent the Illinois case law to you that says a judge automatically has jurisdiction over everything that comes in until he assesses it. So the state gives him jurisdiction. The state recognizes his jurisdiction to assess whether he has jurisdiction or not.
Yeah, he has jurisdiction to sit on the bench, but he doesn't have jurisdiction over the paperwork. The court. I see the court as paperwork. The judge is not a court. They all call themselves the court. No, they're not. The
judge is the court.
Go read some common law. Or there's some commentaries. The judge is not the court. The paperwork is the court.
I've never seen that in official stuff. It's always the judge and the court's the same thing.
What do you mean
the
official?
The judge is the court.
Official how?
Like through the courts.
I know commentaries.
The common laws come from England.
Yeah, that's why
the common law that we know.
Commentaries. You go read the comment, like Blackstone commentaries, the early commentaries that come from America, those commentaries.
Well, it's recognized now. Maybe you're right. I'm not going to sit and argue that, but it's recognized now that the court is the judge. The judge is the court. Don't matter what room he's sitting in or anything like that. And papers can't make a judgment.
Yeah, but the court doesn't make a judgment. The tribunal makes the judgment, probably, if you want to say it that way. The court
is talking about a jury. You mean a jury? You're not going to get a jury in matters of law. Juries only do facts.
No, tribunal.
You're talking about more than one. So some states.
What do you mean more than one? What are you talking about? You don't know what a tribunal is?
Like I said, some states have different definitions about things. Right here in this state,
I'm talking about like a judge. Real definitions.
There's a magistrate.
Not made up definitions.
They're all made up. They wouldn't be written down by somebody. Somebody making them up.
Well, everybody. Okay, so there's no. Yeah, okay. Everyone's making them up.
So the
whose definitions? Whose definition? I'm talking about the meaning of the word that comes from like common law. The common law before made up fucking common law now. Like, I believe there's two different kinds of common law. There's common law, which is the law that comes from the understanding of God, and as you would express it, like the Torah, common law, and then there's common law of each state. So, like, each state can have a common law. Each federal jurisdiction has a common law, but it doesn't mean those common laws is common law.
I agree with that. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Black's
So when I'm talking about a meaning and a definition of a word and the actual true definition, I'm talking about it coming from the common law, not from statutory common law.
I was going to say that Black's law says that common law is.
Yeah, because that's their common law. Yeah, they're pointing because black law or whatever the frick you just Black's law, yeah, Black's law dictionary, there we go, is their dictionary for their common law. It's only that book is only for one jurisdiction. It's not an actual law book. It's a legal book.
It's the snake language, fork tongue. It's how you know that to play their game.
So yeah, if you're gonna look up common law and blacks, they're gonna say it's judge made law. You realize
that the courts don't even use the Black's law, right?
Yeah,
you can cite it.
They use Bolivar's though. Is all I'm saying.
That's what I got. Or no, I got Ballantines.
Or Bouvier's, yeah. However you say that.
I got Ballantines.
That's what they use though and recognize mostly. Just saying.
I have a Latin to English dictionary that was congressionally placed or whatever, like written into like the congressional record, and it's from 1874 or something like that. It's pretty crazy.
So, but I was asking a tribunal. Do you know what a tribunal is?
Here in my state, a tribunal can be anything like the building commission. That's what they call tribunals here, like a building commission. Somebody who would sit and make a judgment if you made a complaint on an attorney or any licensing, like Department of Insurance. They have a tribunal. What is your definition?
I think, well, it's the people that are established once a court is established, is my understanding. So once the paperwork is properly filed, which is the court, then the tribunal would come out of that. So the judge would be a party of the tribunal.
Black's law, the first thing says the seat of a judge, the place where he administers justice.
For tribunal?
The whole body of judges. Yeah. The whole body of judges who compose the jurisdiction.
It's kind of generic. But the court itself is the judge.
A judicial court, a jurisdiction which the judges.
What is Blackstone's definition of court?
Tribunal. In Roman law, an elevated seat occupied by the.
He describes the court by its nature, function, and constitute. I don't know what that word is. Elements. Blackstone. A court is a place, an authority, where justice is. That's the courthouse. Judicially administered according to the law of the land by persons lawfully appointed to determine cause between parties and rendering judgment thereof. That sounds like a courthouse, since it said it was a place.
Yeah, this Black's Law sounds like it's either a place. In Roman law, it used to be a square wooden form,
So if
or
you
like it's a jurisdiction of judges.
just Google it, I said, "Is a judge called the court?" And it said, "Yes, the court often refers to the judge
Yeah,
or the judicial
of course we're gonna get it
body."
from.
So here's the tribunal or the judicial body presiding over a case. So you got both right there. You have your tribunal, like you said, and you have an individual judge. And that's how my state's laid out, right?
One sentence.
Like I said,
the most accurate Blackstone definition: a court is a lawful authority constituted to hear or determine controversy between parties according to the law of the land through due process by a judge acting judicially and not as a party.
right. So to say the judge and the court are one and the same is correct. You could also say a tribunal is a judge, and you would be correct. But my understanding is a tribunal will be more than one. It's like a board.
I mean, you can motion to recuse the judge or whatever. So you'd still be
plenty of those.
Changing the judge for the same court. I always thought the court was the plaintiff's paperwork. He who makes the claim. It's their court, whoever brings the claim forth.
So it says Blackstone on when a court fails to exist.
You're in Blackstone's commentary?
Well, I'm funneling it through ChatGPT, which I have all his commentaries in there. So it's pulling from the document.
I gotta work tomorrow. I'm out of here, guys.
All right, have a good one. I'm about to leave too. It's been a long day.
Yeah, nice talking to you.
Take it easy, guys.
All right, you too. Nice.
Till next time.
Come around anytime. All right, later. Peace. Yeah, tell me when a court fails to exist.
So I was thinking you was saying Black. I thought you meant Black's dictionary. You're talking about the commentary.
Blackstone. Sir Edward.
I always went with the 6th edition of Black's dictionary, Black's Law Dictionary. The 6th edition is the one that called us monsters, so I kind of went with that. Where they call a human being a monster.
Yeah. Which it is. It's a creation. Human beings like a creation. That's why they say it's a monster, because it's a creation.
I always thought we was hues of light, just being.
A court exists only as long as it acts judicially within jurisdiction under a lawful cause between parties. When any essential element fails, the court itself fails, not merely the proceeding. So that's why I think it's like the paperwork, because when it starts to talk like that, it seems more of it's the court is made up of certain elements, and without these elements, a court cannot exist.
True, though.
So like a judge, the tribunal part of it would be more the judge part, and that is part of the establishment of the court.
So you could also equate that to court rules. The court rules are paperwork that's already been written. That's basically adhesion. They're attached to us. If we're in there in the first place,
not the court rules. The court rules are there.
I get what you're saying.
Are there to be?
You're talking about pleadings. Your pleadings is what you're talking about.
No, I'm talking about I'm talking about the. Okay, sure, pleading, but like the prosecutor has to establish the court properly, and without the the proper like the court rules are just saying how the court has to be established and the way it has to be brought forth. Has to be summons. Do you know what I mean? It's like a spell. It's like adding ingredients together and then putting the energy into it, and then a court will like emerge out of something. And without those, then no court exists.
Well, I wasn't even disagreeing with Michael on all that other stuff that he was saying like that. Yes, I get that. The whole spell casting and the words and the summonses and all of that. Yeah, I understand.
Well, I wasn't even really saying that. I was just using that as an analogy of kind of the idea that it's not the judge. It's a process.
But what he's gonna do though is he's in charge of listening to both sides. So he's gonna have to have a legal candor.
But he has a duty is the problem. That was what Michael was saying, is that I'm holding him to his duty, and once he falls out of line with his duty, I'm going to nail him on that.
And I can't disagree with that, and I wasn't disagreeing with that if that's what he was saying. But he was making a lot of legal conclusions between those words. A ton of them. A ton of legal conclusions that are all patriot arguments that will just lose your case. It just
the point is you're asking for case law on things that will never be established in case law.
No, I understand that theory, but that's like, I don't know, that's kind of like a catch thing to say that. So everything that he can't answer.
Well, it's not like it won't. It's not like it won't be. It's not like it can't be established in case law. It's like it's very hard to have that established in case law, because you're not challenging the back half of it. You're trying to catch them on all of the beginning stuff, which normally,
I disagree with that on this premise. Okay, so most all case law is exactly that. A person saying, no, this judge is wrong or this prosecutor's wrong, because we're making case law by appeal, by the appellate process. So it's somebody saying this judge wrong. So what this guy's saying is this always works 100% of the time. 100% of the time, because nobody has been said.
He's saying if you do it 100% properly, which is very hard to do, even if you're really practiced at it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's kind of go back to the spiritual thing. You're making a potion, and without 100% the ingredients in the right way, in the right form, the potion's not going to exist.
I totally understand. I understand what you're saying, but check this out. Try to get this. So if it's really hard to do, there would means that one person would get it, say, out of 10. Okay, so 1 out of 10 guys get it, or 1 out of 3.
Could be like 100, 1 out of 100, yeah.
Okay, so let's take the 100, because I like that number better, of people who failed. And if they failed, that means that it proceeded. Okay, a failure of his argument means that the case is going to proceed and it's going to go forward, and they're not going to erase it. Okay, so when the case goes forward, then the person, if he's got a good point, and it was true what he said, all he's got to do is appeal it. And the appeal process will not be erased because you ask it to be erased. They're not going to never do that. It's going to be a case law. It's going to be brought into the appellate court, and he's going to say, John Doe was right. The court did not have jurisdiction. And I have read cases where it said that, but you see, you get it. I read them, and none of the arguments where the court didn't have jurisdiction had anything to do with what he was saying, right? So where is a case, even one of all of these hundreds of people that failed, that had the argument and failed, when they appealed it, the appeals court either agreed or even disagreed with it and said, hey, their argument was this, but we disagree, and the court did have jurisdiction, or the argument was this, and we agree with them, and the court doesn't have jurisdiction. But it made case law.
His main argument is, I have the right to know the nature and the cause of all actions. So his questions, I've heard this many times, if you just stand on the questions, they have to answer the questions. And then, so is that not true, that they have to answer your questions?
A judge doesn't have to do anything.
Well, no, they don't have to.
No, but they won't. So, okay, so let's just say that I'm a judge real quick, because I've seen plenty of them, right? And you come up and you start that. And I might entertain that for a minute and just kind of feel you out and
You
see
start.
where you
What
are.
are you starting though?
What
What start? You're putting it. I think you're going generally on me. Start what?
Okay, you're here for a speeding ticket.
Okay.
Okay. How do you plead? Guilty or not guilty?
Well, they don't start there.
Okay, well, that would be your an arraignment, I guess. If you're on some kind of ticket, they're going to arraign the. Okay,
but that's not where they start. That's probably like the maybe the sixth, seventh, or seventh question they're asking.
Is your name Garrett?
Well, I would see. He would probably have a different answer to that.
Okay, so
I don't.
You're not going to say your name. Here's what I'm going to do.
I'm not well practiced at that. He didn't say he wasn't going to say his name. I forgot exactly.
He did say that.
I forgot exactly.
He did say that.
No, he actually said his name, but he said it. He said something else. I forget exactly how he presented it.
Well, my point is that I'll take that I'll go around about that for 20, 30 seconds.
And
there's
my come back in.
You gonna make me come back in this motherfucker?
I gotta go to bed anyways.
You can.
All right. So
you walked into this one.
Okay.
So
I'm all ears.
How do you answer? How do you answer the name thing again?
No, I want to see how you're gonna walk yourself out of this one.
Okay.
Because
listen, Michael, if I'm wrong, I will say I'm wrong, dude. And I have no malice against you, and I don't dislike you. So let's just talk.
Okay. Now you gotta follow me on this. You gotta let me talk for a minute.
Okay.
You will get the understanding. When you're walking into a courtroom, it's you against the judge and the prosecutor. These two people, one of those two people took out a matrix on you. If it's the judge, that's totally in conflict, but they're doing it. And they're doing it because nobody knows to look places to see if there's one done. And they don't know what it's called. Not a lot of people don't know it's either called a bond matrix or a charging matrix. They don't know that. They don't know it's getting took out of the sheriff's office. They don't know that.
So is your first step to
to
locate that before you even go to court?
Huh?
Is your first step before you even go to court? Your first step's to locate that. Is that what you're saying?
Well, that depends. If you're going in court because you got arrested, no, you're not going to have time.
Well,
if it's because of a ticket, you can simply ask the officer, "Hey, can you give me 3 weeks to pay?" Or when he gives you the ticket, you can just call down to the clerk in court and say, "Hey, to help you out, because I might file this on appeal. Please make sure this is in a recorded courtroom that." I can have all this recorded because I do, I might plan to appeal. And she'll do that. You say, "Hey, look, I got 3 weeks for this case. Can you give me somebody?" And they'll do it. The only reason why is because it's good business. Anything that's good business, you can bring in the court and say, "Hey, look, this is good business." Because the court's all about good business. We can all agree upon that, right?
Yeah.
I agree with that, yeah.
Okay. So when I come into the courtroom, if it's that day, or if it's not, I'm going to handle it the same way. I have to handle it the same way. One, I have more ammunition to bang their fucking heads. The other, well, I just got to get them on the fly. But how it works is I go in, I rebuttal I make all the rebuttals. And after all the rebuttals are made, then I ask them, is this a Nisi Prius court? The Nisi Prius rules apply. What does that mean? That means no matter what, they have a duty now to prove me guilty. They didn't have this before I asked that question, because they didn't have to put it on the record. And remember, it doesn't matter what they're saying in court and what who's saying in court. You're not there to talk to that judge, and you're not there to talk to the lawyer. You are there to make a record. You don't know why you're here, so you're asking questions in order to get comprehension. You don't want understanding. That's failure language. You want comprehension. You don't understand nothing these motherfuckers are doing. You comprehend. First off, you don't fall under their rules and under their guidelines. They're creating spells. You are dispelling the spells. But the only reason that this ever works is because you haven't fallen out with the one of high, the supreme being. You haven't fallen out. There's no verified complaint. Some asshole has said that you went too fast. He didn't like it, so he wants you to pay. Why? Because we're paying back for the 33 bailout. That's all it is.
Okay, but
there's no money. There's no money.
Listen, that's political.
It's all debt based.
That's all political.
Yeah, we
gotta
just stay on track. Yeah, we get all the
no. But it all coincides. It's who you are, where you're standing.
Yeah, we understand that part.
You have a ticket, and that officer has turned the ticket into the court for the prosecutor to pick up, and he's looking at it. So the court has got a prosecutor with a ticket in his hand and a police officer who signed it, who said he saw you go over the speed limit.
Police report, right? A police report, correct? A police report, correct?
A ticket, but he issued a ticket. He issue a ticket?
Okay, a ticket is not a is how should I put this? It's not the correct way of doing business.
It's a complaint. It is,
but it's not a verified. But it's not a verified complaint. It's just a complaint. It's not a verified complaint. And you can only take people to court with verified complaints. And a police report is not a sworn affidavit, so it's not really evidence. Okay, it's not evidence that you really pass on.
A police report,
because at the end of the day, the procedure is there has to be a sworn affidavit and a verified complaint.
Oh, okay. So let's say that you're 100% correct. Now, who's going to listen to that? Because the judges that I know,
I'm not asking them to listen. What part did you not understand? Okay, no, I'm not there. I'm not there to talk to nobody. What did you not understand? Okay. I'm not there to talk to the judge, and I'm not there to talk to the lawyer.
Michael's dismissed. Michael's dismissed. You can walk out because he won't acknowledge this. Now, please issue a warrant for whatever name you have on the ticket. That's what I say.
How did you get that? How did you come to that conclusion?
1,000 times.
You're jumping forward.
How did you get to that conclusion when earlier I said I'm putting the cop on the stand and I'm questioning backwards?
You can't do that without a trial.
Oh, yes, I can. Oh, yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Okay, here's how it goes. Your Honor, do I have a Sixth Amendment right to know the nature and cause of the action before me? Yes. Okay, what is it, civil or criminal? Oh, well, it's civil. But he's going to try to go off. Normally they try to go off and get you to plea because the whole point is to get you to plea because they know this. And you say, okay, well, under a criminal aspect, there's only two courts you can try me in. That's admiralty and common law. Which one is this? Oh, this is not. Oh, what court is this? Oh, it's a statutory court. Okay, under a one-time action in a federal court, I can FOIA request the Secretary of the United States of America and get the published rules of courtroom procedures. Now, can I FOIA request the Secretary of the State of the Republic of Ohio and get the published rules of courtroom procedures? No. Is this a courtroom, a secret jurisdiction and a secret whatever for and the whole time that they want to try to interrupt you? You say, I object, Your Honor. What's your objection? Well, you're violating my First Amendment right to speak freely, fully, and at length. I was speaking, and then you started speaking over top of me. Are you exercising your personal rights in this courtroom today? That's a real question. He cannot exercise his personal rights because he's got to uphold my personal rights. We're here on my personal rights. We're here because I'm the only person that's an American standing in the courtroom, and everybody else is public officials. So my rights come first. So are you exercising your personal rights? That would be a conflict of interest. You want that on the record. This stops people from interrupting you. They'll let you speak. You get to say whatever you say. Now here's the flip on that. You can interrupt them anytime you want. Why? Because they're not allowed to exercise their rights to speak freely, fully, and at length under the First Amendment, because that would be a conflict of interest of upholding your rights in that court, in that judge's assigned courtroom. That's what it is. So when you come in, as long as you keep nailing these people with the correct verbiage, and that's, hey, you're stepping beyond the line, and B, I know you're stepping behind the line, and C, here's how you're stepping beyond the line. Once you get those trinities into the record, they will not fucking say another word against you. They'll try to trip you up to make you get a statement in, or to make an argument, because once you do one of those two things, you have lost. As long as you're questioning, and those questioning leads to the obvious answers, you don't have to make those answers, because they're making them for you. So is this a secret court in a secret jurisdiction only known to lawyers? No. Okay. Well, can I go down to the law library? Can I find the published rules there? No. Are you sure this is not a secret court in a secret jurisdiction only known to lawyers? How about you, Your Honor? Can you show me? You can't? Well, that's 3 times. Oh, we know what happens with 3s. So you move on. Because right now, look, you're a friend of the court. You are going to keep punching these motherfuckers in the face with their own fucking verbiage. And you're a friend of the court. All you have to do is not yell, not get angry, and when they do, point it out on the record. Why are you so angry, Your Honor? I don't understand this. What is this with this false anger? But it's just a question. I don't understand your anger. Once you start trapping these people into the corner and not letting them out, you'll get everything you fucking want.
All right, so how do you address the name again?
Your Honor, I'm here as a friend of the court. I'm here to move this process along as peacefully and as quickly as possible. You can call me Brandon.
Is that not a statement?
Well,
so
it's not. It's this is a formality. In formalities, you can make certain statements in formalities. It's you would do it anyways when you're greeting yourself. We're in the formalities. These are formalities. All the way, where you live are formalities. But they're formalities that are telling the court in what arena you are standing in. If you say you're a person, if you say you're a human being, if you say you're an individual, these are their words. These are their definitions.
So is that your status and your standing?
Hey, do you want to know who I am? I am sovereign. Period. I am sovereign.
So
I'm not a man. I'm not a man. I'm not a man. I'm not a living man. I'm not a breathing man. I'm a man of God. I am sovereign. That's it. Period. I am sovereign. 3 words. That's all. If you want to define me, I'm sovereign.
No, I was asking, is that your standing and your status when you're going in there and you're saying you're presenting your appearing, you're appearing and how you're appearing, and you can address me as Brandon.
Under the 4th Amendment, you have a right to remain secure in your person, right? Until you become a defendant. Well, you don't become a defendant until you plea. So until you plea, you don't have to answer the name. And that's why they continue on until they get you to plea. Because once you plea, you're theirs.
Yeah.
So in my state, here's how this would go down. So you're out and you speed. You won't tell if you don't tell the policeman your name, then he's going to arrest you and you go to jail.
You're assuming things, David. He doesn't say that.
No. I've seen this a million times, like literally.
But he's not saying he doesn't talk to the officer.
You're not going to bond until you give him a name.
I'll tell you what. Well, we're talking about in court, okay? Why don't we?
But this is the beginning of the court.
Suspend. Well, no. Let's suspend your little argument, okay? We've already come to the conclusion that this works for anything, any ticket, where there's no verified complaint.
Okay, how can you have a ticket without a name on it?
He's not saying he's not giving his name. He never said he's not giving his name. I don't know where you keep getting the idea he's not giving his name.
Here's where.
No, he keeps making shit up. He keeps making shit up to violate my argument.
So when you get in front of the judge, he's going to look at the ticket that has the name on it, and he's going to ask you your name. And you're just going to say, I'm a friend of the court. And he's going to go, so you're not this guy, Michael or Brandon? You're not him? I'm a friend of the court. Oh, well, why would he? So I'm not going to talk about Brandon's case with you. I don't know you. So you can leave. You're free to leave. So I'm going to put out.
But he said he was going. He never said that. You keep ignoring
say that. No, a friend of the court. He's not giving his name. Ask him. Just ask him.
He didn't say that. He said he's going to say my name's.
I said. No. He's somewhat correct. I said I would say that I'm a friend of a court and that the court can refer to me as Brandon.
Yes.
Okay,
that's
so
my full name.
I'm gonna, as a judge,
now, if they want my full legal corporate name, they didn't ask for it.
And they don't ever ask anyways. They never ask your name anyways.
Okay, listen.
No, they just come up and say, "Are you this?"
If you don't give a name,
I'm not that person.
They don't give it. They really actually don't ever fucking ask the name. I've been in court a lot of times, and they don't actually ask the name. They just say, Garrett Grubbs,
yes,
case number, blah, 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 and you stand up, and then they go, okay, Garrett Grubbs appears pro se and without an attorney, and then they move on. Yes. And then they go, are you going to represent yourself, or are you going to be, blah, 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 and they go into representation, and they stay on that fucking thing for hours.
If you stand up, then that's, and you've answered the name. That's right.
But if you do it right, when you very first do it, when you come up to the thing, if you do it right and you start questioning, and they understand that the questions that you're asking leads to what you're doing, they're not going to bother you. They're really not. I mean, once they find out that you're coming in as an American and that you understand you're coming in as an American, that's like a U.S. coming in saying, "Yeah, I like to I like to discharge or offset."
So here,
and they understand that.
Here where I'm at in this whole state, because we was qualified in every county.
What state you in?
I'm in Missouri. So here in this state, if you don't give the cop your name or license, he's going to arrest you. You're arrested. You're not going to bond out of jail until you give him a name. And maybe they're gonna run you and check in all kinds of stuff, and they can hold you 24 hours, even if you're Mother Mary. They can just say, "I want to hold you for 24 hours and take you," and that's pretty much anywhere. They can grab you and hold you for 22, 24 hours. Each state's different. So while they're doing that, if they don't have your name, you're gonna sit in jail until you go in front of a judge.
You're assuming a lot of things. Though.
Why don't you hand them a passport?
Just read.
Why don't you hand them a passport?
Just read. So when you get up there in front of the judge, he's gonna just ask you to plead.
You don't have an American passport?
I don't have a passport.
No one's saying they're not giving a name.
An American passport?
No, do you got one?
No one's saying they're not giving the name.
He did say that.
You get him at the Social Security office.
American.
You go in and file a form. I think it's DS11. You file a form. No, that's DS11's for military. You go in and file a form.
That's the right one. That's the one that David, what's his name, was talking about the other night.
DS11.
DS11. Yeah.
Okay, you file it, but when you file it, you just don't mark U.S. citizen. You mark other. That's it. Okay, other.
So this was all proven the other night.
When you mark other, you're an American. Okay, if you mark U.S. citizen, then you're in violation of U.S.
So that could be a South
US
American, South America,
901
or Canadian.
What's that?
So you could be a Canadian, or you could be from Brazil or Argentina.
No. You're American.
Oh, they're American.
You're an American.
You're
an American.
They're American.
No. You are part of the United States of America. America.
Oh, so now the United States. Aren't you
America.
getting into citizenship then?
See, well, okay, look, you got the United States, which is a federal foreign corporation. Then you got the United States of America, which is the geographical location of where you were born. Yeah, so this is where the two-tier justice system comes in. This is where the two-tier justice system starts. You have America and you have the U.S. government.
Yeah, the passport only says
These are two different entities.
States. It doesn't say United States of America.
You have two different constitutions. You have the Constitution of the United States of America, and you have the Constitution of the United States. Now, the Constitution of the United States of America only lasted about, I'm thinking it was like 4 years, maybe 7, before it changed to the Constitution of the United States. And before it was that, it was just something. It was just America. I can't remember how.
It was something. It was the something papers, as I recall.
No. America's had 3 titles. The original one is it's not the United States of America. It's something of America. And the second one is the United States of America, and the third one is the United States. But the United States is technically the federal foreign corporation. And that was born out in 1933. But it was started in the same year, around the same time as Lincoln came in.
Articles
because it was Lincoln.
Not papers. It was the Articles of Confederation.
Yeah, okay. Of America.
Nope. Just the Articles of Confederation.
That was the first before they.
Then it was the United States of America. Okay. I know it's had 3 titles. And I know the United States of America was very, very fucking short. Because, and the only reason because is a contract with the Rothschilds. And so the War of 1812 was really shit came time to do, and we didn't have it. So we had to go get money from the French, which is, again, just borrowing from the Rothschilds. But it wasn't borrowing from the American Rothschilds. It was borrowing from the French Rothschilds, because there's 5 different Rothschilds at this time. Because this is just after Brown had turned his name to Rothschild. He was living in, I don't think it was England. He was living in the country, and then he had 5 children, and they branched off to 5 different countries, and then they eventually worked their way down into America. That's when they, it was several. I know Washington was president for 2 years, and he kept fighting these fuckers off because he didn't want to contract with them, because they were shitty. He knew how shitty it was going to get. But he ended up, after 2 years of his presidency, he ended up having to contract with them. That's just shit I know about history. That's just like, these guys went out to some island and hatched all this shit.
Jekyll Island.
But Lincoln, what I was saying on Lincoln was the guy in 1864. If you go on Black's Law Dictionary, I think 63 and then 64, he's the one that redefined person. This is where they're starting to build up to the 1933 shit. This is where they start defining person. This is where eventually, I think it was that time that they started doing the Dred Scott decisions, so they could figure out again exactly what they were going to call the slaves, and how they were going to bring in the 14th Amendment, or
Yeah, so Reconstruction era.
Yeah, I think it's it's either the 13th Amendment or the 14th Amendment that he wrote slavery into the Constitution. And it specifically says, I abolish all forms of slavery save one, prison. So you don't abolish anything if you save any part of it. You're just changing the face of it. So he wrote slavery into the Constitution because there was a law when the forefathers were in, there was a law that was passed that Congress could not use the word slavery. Okay? They were trying to get rid of slavery, and the sentiment was this. If the only reason that you can say slavery is a bill of sale for property and go into court, because now when they pass this law that they cannot use the word slavery in Congress, that means they can't use the word slavery in court. So when they come into court, they're not talking about slavery, they're talking about property rights. So if everybody stopped creating bills of sale for property that were called people, that's the end of slavery. That's slavery's done, and you don't even have to mention it, you know.
So we still got that speeding ticket laying there.
Okay, but we're coming to realization of why laws are how.
Listen,
and
there is no judge in the state of Missouri that's going to listen to any of this.
Hey, if you can go off on your little traffic tickets and your little cars and your little pullovers, I can go off on this. Okay.
No, I'm just saying.
He created the word person and intentionally to bring it into the courts. This is how we are developing, bringing stuff into the courts. Okay, we can't bring slaves into court, but we can bring a bill of sale with property rights into the court. And then here comes him. Here comes Lincoln. I abolished all forms of slavery save one, prison. Now he's written slavery into the Constitution. You feel me? Now we have slavery. Now they have to figure out how they're going to do it. Then we have the slaughterhouse decisions by Dred Scott. We have his decisions on what he's going to call these people and how this works.
In St. Louis, Missouri.
There you get an understanding. There you get an understanding of where how you stand in court and why you stand in court.
You can't hang everything on that one decision. That was about an individual and his own status.
Right, a slave owner who one time who was a slave, who became a property owner, who became a slave owner, who now they want to put back into slavery. That decision. That's the one you're speaking on?
Yeah.
That's the one we're talking about. Yeah. That one.
St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay. Yeah, I think you should think about that one for a minute. So
I know the case very well.
So we're seeing the court develop here. This is where we're seeing the court develop. When Lincoln comes in, he is the one that is spurring the movement toward a statutory state court. That doesn't exist in the Constitution, by the way. So that's the reason why I asked that question when I'm talking to the judge. Because there's only two courts, and now he's coming up with one that nobody's heard of. And on top of that, now it's on the record, there's no published rules. And at some point, I'm going to instruct the judge that he is not allowed to alter, remove, strike, or mess with my record in any way, because it's my record. It's not his. He hasn't taken control of it. I haven't fell out of honor. He doesn't get to do nothing. He still has to.
Who's this record with?
The court clerk. The court clerk is taking a record.
How does she get permission to do that? Ain't that statutory?
I'm the one that gave I'm the one that gave her permission when I called to say, hey, look, like if this is a through week and I get a chance to go get my shit, I've already called the clerk of court and I've already explained to the clerk of court that I want a record in my clerk of court because I may want to appeal, and I have that right. and she has to give it to me. Or I'm going to go into the USC, United States Code, and I'm going to find out where she's defunct in her job, and I want to say, hey, she's defunct in her job under this, da 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 da. Now I can go administratively, or I can go courtly. Courtly is going to the sheriff. Administratively is going to her boss and saying, hey, she's in violation of da 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 da, United States Code, da 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 da. You don't know how to hold these people accountable. Once you figure out that you can hold these people accountable and you are right in what you're bringing forth, then you can fully hold these people account. But when they break your shit and they steal your vehicle, they owe you something. If they bring you, ask you come to a hearing and they want to sit there and do some administrative process that you have no part of because you're not a U.S. citizen, because that process was for taxing public officials to pay for the fucking bailout.
Okay, so here's where I'm getting the question about the court clerk.
You understand that?
So the court clerk, their power comes from the Constitution, but it's under the judge, and he sets the policy.
That's failure language.
It's not under the judge.
Huh?
It's not under the judge.
That's what it says. Court clerk's power and jurisdiction comes from the Constitution, statutes like state law, the court, and the court rules define them as the court's chief administrative office managing records, finances, juries, and court support, working under the judge's direction to execute judicial functions, not to create laws or enlarge jurisdictions. Essentially, judges set policy and the clerks execute them.
He's the highest clerk in the courtroom. He's not the highest clerk in the office.
Yeah, to my understanding, what you just read.
He's a ministerial appellate clerk.
You're talking about two different offices in that one sentence.
He's a ministerial appellate clerk when he's sitting in a statutory seat. That's Article 1 court, that is statutory. He is a ministerial appellate clerk. When you sit in a common law, that is an Article 3. That is a magistrate. Now, the law states that even before they put you in a jail, they have to take you before a magistrate. A magistrate has to make that decision to put you in a jail. That was the whole point of Night Court, that TV show Night Court.
I understand.
Everybody have to come before a magistrate before they go to jail. Your car sits on the side of the road.
And that's turned into a 20 and a 24-hour hold instead.
Exactly, and that's still a violation. And it's only a violation because, number one, when the traffic stop started, when you sit there and you're talking about IDing yourself, that's why you give them a passport. The passport, if you do it right, when they go back, they're going to pull it up. It says, do not ticket, or do not stop, do not question, do not ticket, lifetime concealed to carry. It's a lifetime concealed to carry in any state. Okay? That is your passport. If your gun is bought with gold, and you have the bill of sale at your house and you have a passport on you, and they say, hey, what are you doing with that gun? Number one, under the Constitution, it is a violation for them to take it from you. That's in the Second Amendment. Okay? They take it from you. You hand them your passport. The passport that's claiming you're an American, because when they run it, it says, do not stop, do not question, do not ticket, lifetime concealed carry. It's because you are not part of the United States. You are not a U.S. citizen. That passport is saying you are not a U.S. citizen. That's why Cops get bent the fuck out of shape when you hand it to them. That's why you got that one video where they fucking stole that black guy's that sitting in the Corvette. They stole his. He had to go get a sheriff to go track that guy down to get his fucking passport back. That's what it is. You're two types of jurisdictions. There are two justice systems. I don't have a problem with it as long as the fucking cops understand it.
I know
because
the
if the cops understood it, we wouldn't have all these videos. We wouldn't have all these problems.
The courts have recognized occupancy jurisdiction for denizens.
No, you can't just you can't just half do it.
It's not.
You can't just sit there and half doing it. Yeah, you are. Because look, if I sit around and I go out and I'm using US dollars to buy a vehicle, number one, that US dollar is evidence of a debt.
Yep.
The US dollar is evidence of a debt that you owe. If the system were going down today, every dollar in your possession you owe for. You owe. So you bought a $200,000 Lamborghini. It's sitting out in your car. You bought it with US dollar. The system crashed. Here comes the government. They're coming to take your fucking Lamborghini because you didn't buy it with gold. You didn't buy it with a thing of substance. You didn't buy it with something with value.
I agree.
Okay. So you fall under their regulations. You are now a U.S. citizen. This is the whole point they took the gold. And the reason why they gave it back is because their friend said, if you ever paid attention to any gold commercial, it says, what does it say? Protect your assets with gold. What does that mean? Okay, that means if you buy the asset with gold and you hold the bill of sale, you have nobody. There's nobody there to regulate you. Nobody can say one thing about that gun, except it has a VIN number. But okay, but the problem is, I bought that with gold, and that's part of a private sale. They don't know how to ask questions that lead to the obvious answers. And once they learn to do that, they'll stay in honor. Because it's not you who's sitting there saying, hey, this is what's going on. It's them answering your questions that lead to the obvious answer. And they can't go, they have to go, I see your point. I'm sorry. And once you get through the Sixth Amendment, once you get through that article, the second you get to that you've went the third time, that you've said, hey, this is secret court, that's when you say, you look around, you say, I want to put the officer on the stand. I want to question the officer. I instruct you to put him on the stand. You don't ask, you instruct, you order, you demand. These are things that you do. Why? Because you are the captain of the ship. This is all spellcraft.
I get
this
your
is
argument.
All part of this is over 2,000 years of putting together.
So what happens when the officer's not there? They just dismiss it?
Oh, well, then you no. If he's not there, if they try to say he's not there, then you either you want a continuance while you file a complaint and you file an appeal. Okay.
What
if
are you
he
appealing?
can look, he can restart the case when he says, okay, when the judge makes a continuance. Okay, he's not you. He doesn't get to act in your stead because you have a dishonor. So he does not get nobody in the courtroom at this point in time gets to not do what you're saying at this time. You are in control. This is what they're talking about when you capture and flip the court.
Guys, I'm out of here. I gotta get out. I gotta go. Y'all bless.
All right.
Later.
All right, can continue.
This is what it's talking about. This is what it's talking about on flipping the court. Okay, if you walk in, if you capture the court with the name and rebuttal all the information, and you make it to the Sixth Amendment, and you get to the point where you put the officer on the stand. Okay, you've done it before the prosecutor done it. That's usually what he does, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he gets to go, and then you get to go, and then he gets to go right after you. But you don't get to go after him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now you're in a different situation. You put the officer on the stand, you get to question him. Then the prosecutor gets to question him, and then you get to re-question him. And if they don't like the conclusion that they get, they can keep going. We can keep going back and forth. Okay, but this doesn't happen when we're up, and when the prosecutor puts it on the stand. He gets a chance, we get a chance, he gets a chance, and that's it. Okay, this is to show you how one-sided this is. How everything, it's like, really, it reminds me of a sacrifice. Okay, you have to go to the altar. You have to do all these certain things and put all these elements and all these things together in order to make your sacrifice. And it's what it seems like to me, because it's spiritual. And this is the reason why they say they took God out of the courts, is because they know it's spiritual. And for them to really get one-sided is, one, they had to quit teaching etymology. They had to. I mean, what replaced it is, do as you're told. I remember telling the principal, he's fucking stupid. I got in an argument with a teacher. Teacher tried to tell me something I knew she was wrong on. I told her she was wrong. He's crazy. That's ignorant. So she sent me to the office. I told the principal. He said, "Well, you're to do whatever she tells you, whenever she tells you." I said, "Fuck that. That's wrong. I know that's wrong. You know that's wrong. Why am I going to sit here and entertain this stupidity?" He don't like it. I got detention. But I learned very early not to trust these people. Like in the third grade, I learned not to trust these people because they were like Nazis. Okay, now I get back to the court situation. Now, once you've went through all that and you went through that and you put the judge, the cop on the stand, now you're going to ask specific questions about specific constitutional violations in reverse, because the first one that is totally evident is he ran your name without a crime. If there's no crime, if there's no sworn affidavit, which a police report is not a sworn affidavit.
Yeah.
Okay, there's no affidavit. There can't be no case, so there can't be a verified complaint without a sworn affidavit. You don't have these two things. It's part of the process. So the process starts out flawed. This is where the prosecutor is in dishonor, because he brought it into the courtroom. Now, what makes it even worse is I'm saying I'm not a U.S. citizen. So now you're trying to hold a U.S. somebody who's an American. American's private. So they brought a private American into a public court. And what did I say earlier? Private and public do not mix. Public and private do not mix, period. That's the doctrine. It is the established doctrine. So they're automatically wrong. But when you let them know, and you let them know, hey, I'm a friend of the court. I'm here to make a resolution as quickly and speedily as possible. Just because I'm putting all the dirty shit on the record doesn't mean at the end I can't eliminate the record. Now, here's what the actual situation looks like. When you put the officer on the stand, okay, I'm going to give you a scenario where the cop pulls you over, tries to falsely gets the name. You roll the window up, but he busts the window out, drags you out, and takes you to prison, impounds your car. And the reason why that is because all those constitutional violations add up. The first one being he ran your name. Before he stopped you, he ran your name. If you can get him to say he ran your name before he pulled you over, you have him. He pulled you over. Okay, that's a Fourth Amendment violation. But they're not going to. They won't say that. That violation kicks in a fruit of the tree doctrine. You understand that?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. Sorry, I'm getting a little tired. It's been a long night.
Okay. Do you know what the fruit of the tree doctrine is, right?
Yeah, bad fruit corrupts the whole tree.
If I violate your rights, and then I turn around and say you broke the law, I can't do that because I violated your rights before I did what I did.
Yeah.
So anything after my violation is fruit of the poisonous tree.
Yeah.
It's no good. That's a doctrine. That's a real doctrine. Okay, it's called fruit of the poisonous tree. You hear it in all kinds of TV shows.
Yeah.
Oh, the court shows. And what it is I can't be starting in a place of wrong and then tally up your wrongs and then present it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't be the one making the wrong, being the criminal, and then calling you a criminal.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yep.
It's fruit of the poisonous tree. It's basically what it is. So now you busted out my window. That's a Fourth Amendment violation. Now you got to figure. This is an actual scheduling. It's 250,000, 500, 750, and each violation after that is $1 million. This is a schedule they created. So first three violations is 1.2 million. Well, okay, the first violation I'm gonna consider is you ran my name, and when you ran my name, you stole my property. That being the full legal corporate name, under the Social Security. Okay. Now, you can't, if the law says I have to commit a crime for you to identify me, and that's what you did, and not only that, but not only did you steal my property, but you gave it to somebody else, so they received stolen property. And you sent it to NCIS and all these other places, which are private entities receiving public funds. And due to the takings clause, I was never compensated. Then you have all the officers on the scene, US 241 and 242, 14, was it 18 or 14? I think it's 18. 18 US 241 and 242. What is it? Conspiracy, deprive rights, and depriving rights under the color of law. Right?
I'm not sure. You got the code better than me.
You can look it up. Okay, it's easy to look up. Now you hit them with those two. Okay, now since it's all conspiracy, you can add in fraud, and you can add in treason, because they all conspired to deprive you of your rights, and that's technically treason. But nobody ever does. Okay, but then you got to add in the people that stole your car. That's a RICO, because it's a private company. He wants to say it's not, but it is. And they receive public funds. It's a private company that receives public funds to steal your vehicle. So they colluded to steal your vehicle. They falsely, each one of these acts has a constitutional violation attached to it. You just add them up. By the time you get to the jail, okay, I'm not gonna sign I'm not gonna sign nothing. I'm not signing nothing. This is where, hey, look, this is what they've done to me. Okay, I told this bitch I'm not signing. She hollered off for the cop. He come and got me. He says, "What's the problem?" She said he's not going to answer any questions, and he refuses to sign for anything. Why? Because that's you That's you giving them permission to access your Social Security account. That's what that is. When you sign that ticket, it is a loan. The officer is taking out a loan. There is a way that when you get a ticket that you can do what's called an out of court. And a lot of people think that means just go in and pay. But what that means is you call the Secretary of State, you say, "Hey, I want to do an out of court. Can you send me the paperwork?" So she's going to send you it's a page. You fill it out, you write a letter. You send it back to her, she records it, she sends it to the Attorney General. He records and takes your name off and makes the officer pay the ticket. That's one way of doing. There's so many ways that this system has of doing things. Discharge, offsets. These are all because it's a debt-based system. But they're giving people that have this knowledge. This isn't our knowledge. This is somebody else's knowledge. You understand?
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well,
so it's all about the change, anyways.
I'm getting tired. We gotta connect on another time. Hit me up some. You want my public phone number? You want to send me a message or something, or Telegram? You hit me up on Telegram.
Tell you what. I gotta go to Columbus tomorrow. We got a doctor's appointment. How about I just hit you back up when you're back up again? You should be back up within the next day or two, and I'll just pop on.
Yeah, it should be. Hopefully, that's the plan. But
look,
I gotta get some court stuff going on too. So, but
all right.
But yeah, you can just hit me up on Telegram or something, or.
But real quick, once you walk him through all that, he's going to put all the damages and harm on the record. So you're going to ask the officer just a few more questions, and then here's one of the most important things you'll do. You'll recuse the officer as an incompetent witness. Now, this not just recuses, but you want to keep what he says for the record, but you want to recuse him. You'll say that you'll want to keep it for appellate purposes, but you want to recuse the officer as an incompetent witness. What this does is it takes him off the streets for about 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is how you hold a cop. This is how you hold a cop accountable, and you tell him to do it before he goes to court. If you do this action, I will hold you accountable, and you will be off the street for 6 months. And just leave it at that, because anything else is a threat.
Yeah.
And you don't threaten your public officials. Okay, even to hold them account, even when you're holding them account, you just say let the record reflect that the judge is violating such and such. You're not accusing. You're just saying what's going on and why you're protesting.
Yeah.
Anytime you stay away from any arguments. They're going to try to lead you to an argument. They're going to bait you into an argument. I don't understand. And when you comprehend, when you understand, you don't say I understand, you say I comprehend.
Yeah.
You never say I understand under those circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you've got all that, okay? Now you've dismissed him. The only thing left is what? The official report, right?
Yep.
The cop and his report. Okay, if the cop's no good, the report's no good. So now I'm going to ask for dismissal based on what the court has already come to the conclusion of. One, they caused me irreparable harm and damage. We've already come to that conclusion. We've got what the officer says and why. And when you come to the first question, your first question is rooted in the Constitution, and it shows that you're recognizing this as an American, then you can't be a U.S. citizen. If my first question is, can you please cite the law that grants you jurisdiction and authority to violate my Fourth Amendment right to travel freely without being impeded? And he says, well, I don't have to. And you say, well, under the Sixth Amendment, I have a right to know the nature and cause of any action taken against me by a public official, and you have a duty to inform me. And a judge hears that in court. That's the violation that causes fruit of the poisonous tree. And now, since there was violence in it, busted out my window, jerked me out of the car, assaulted me, whatever else, I'm due damages. So what is going to be more palatable? Me taking you to me taking you through an appellate process that I've made sure you're not allowed to alter my record. I've got it on. At the beginning, I set the rules. You set rules. No violate. You don't. You don't alter my record. You don't violate my First Amendment right to speak, and you don't violate my Sixth Amendment right to know. You're setting the rules. And this is what that dude don't understand. Now you just gotta walk them through it. And now that you've walked them through it, now you can say, I want a dismissal based on this guy is no good. Your report's no good. So I want it with prejudice, eliminate the record, and make reparations for the harm and cause that you've already put on the record. Pay me 10% of a 1983. That's probably going to be $40 million. That's $4 million. I'm going to have to make an amount of $4 million. Once they understand that I'm not standing in their arena, they're not going to argue with me. They don't have a right to. They're my public officials. I have not given that judge at any point time to take over. I haven't dishonored myself, so he has to follow my instructions. Period.
Yep.
And if I use the rule of lenity and I let him know I'm using the rule of lenity, I'm not going to ask for the 40 million. I'll invoke the rule of lenity and ask for 4 million, 10% of that, and that's a hell of a savings for the state. And I wanted ASAP. And at this point, you could put any instructions on it. If you want to make that cop go get your vehicle out of impound off his own dime and bring it to the courthouse, he's the one that had it taken. He's the one that has to replace it. He opened the door. He has to close the door. You've heard that saying, haven't you?
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
If that's all I'm asking.
I gotta get to bed. I'm really tired.
But you understand it now?
Oh yeah, I understand it.
But you got it now?
I'll have more questions for you next time. I'm getting tired, so I don't have any questions. I'm just drained. It's been almost 9 hours on this live stream, and it's almost 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock my time. Where are you at?
Ohio. Right at Fork Lake.
All right, there you go. Yep. All right. So I'll definitely want to keep the conversation going, and then I'll have some questions. But yeah, that's kind of the way I understand things. I understand exactly what where you're getting at. So
did you have you seen them two sheriffs that are telling people about the right to travel?
Are they the unincorporated sheriffs? Or no? Actual sheriffs.
No, they're wearing sheriff badges. They're wearing sheriff uniform. One's wearing sheriff uniform. One wears a white stripe down, and he has a sheriff's badge. But what they're talking about is like what Cam Wilson was talking about. When you go down to your town hall during their meetings, and you put in your affidavit of who you are. You give them a copy of affidavit of who you are and how you're traveling. And if you're stopped, you can put in there like, okay, for every minute that you take up my time, I get a golden buffalo nickel. Yeah, these are things you can do. A lot of people don't understand it, but if you have a right to contract infinitely, and that's what they're doing, they're just doing it for you because you're claiming to be one of their people.
Yeah.
And if you do business as one of their people, you're obviously one of their people.
Yep. All right. We'll keep the conversation going next time.
You just have to learn that this is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You can keep me.
You have a good one.
We'll definitely have. I'll have more questions when
I'll find you. Don't worry, I'll find you.
I cannot be so tired right now, but I'm crashing for sure. So definitely next time. All right.
Oh yeah.
I'll remember your name. Are you always on as Michael Jarvis? The username you're always using?
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Thank you for coming out. Until next time, like always, leaving love and the light in one infinite crater. Peace.